Hello, and welcome to our 20th episode of Trek Prime. And we're not bringing you what I wanted to bring you, because Stuart Foley, Captain Foley over at TrekYards, has been trying to help me, and I actually contacted Samuel Coughlin, also from TrekYards, and on Skype, and we talked about a new service we were going to be using, but we still got to iron out a few kinks with that. But they celebrated their 4th anniversary recently, so I wanted to send a big shout out to Nicole and Stuart for keeping this going, and I know a lot of people have, but big congratulations from Jeff and I, and for all your help. Thank you. And we've reached our 20th, but we are going to be doing something a little bit different today, and it was Jeff's idea, and we just talked about it, and I'll let him go.
Yeah, okay. What I wanted to do, just so I don't alarm everybody watching, is that we were going to talk about uniforms. And I thought it would be easier if we would just kind of show pictures of the uniforms as we go, so that way, you guys can follow along better. Remember, it's like remember those book and record stories used to make Star Trek, and they say turn the page when you hear the communicator beep like this.
Yes, you hear the little noise. You'd say,
yeah. So
turn the
I
page.
figured, the simplest way to do this is going to be the best way, so that people can follow me. So I'm not going to be on the screen, but I'll be in the background, and you'll probably hear me just the same anyway.
Right.
But,
so what we'll do is we'll just zoom in on the outfit, and we'll come back to Jeff after. Is that the idea you wanted?
Well, no, just to keep the distortion down. I don't want to dizzy anybody. I'll just keep the camera focused on that till we finish, and then when we're done, I'll put it back up on the thing.
All right. So why don't we just do we focus on them, and then when we've seen them, finish talking about them before we go to the next one, we'll just have a little chat. So
yeah.
Anyway, between each one, so we, like you said, we don't get dizzy, but we'll. So All right. This is a subject that TrekYards have actually done, and Stuart at least has had no problem with us doing our own versions of it. Which it's always going to be different. Everybody always has their little different opinions. So we're going to be talking about a subject that should be a lot of fun, and it's Star Trek uniforms. I don't know. Are we going to be doing Starfleet uniforms throughout from like the Mirror universe, or just focusing on the Prime?
I grabbed as many as I felt was appropriate for tonight's conversation about it. Right. So hopefully we'll get them all. I mean, if I miss one, then yeah, you can hang me for it. But
All right. So about your looking at that, I don't have any such way I can do it with my favorites. So are these just going to be for yours?
Well, no, these I tried to get all the ones that from all the Star Trek except for Discovery.
Okay, because like I said, we're Trek Prime, and I've actually been thinking maybe we should eventually have a Discovery conversation, but the game isn't close to played out yet with that.
Yeah. And
I'm just gonna kind of let that sit and do our thing. So, like I said,
maybe we can figure out a way, later on.
Yeah, like I said, Discovery is getting like Star Wars, where it's, come on, not you.
Yeah.
Anyway, just kind of stay in your little good Discovery. Thank you. Anyway, and by the way, Jeff's got a nice pad he's wearing with the Delta symbol.
Yeah.
So kind of the TOS Enterprise symbol hat.
Yep.
Later, all of Starfleet. So anyway, you want to go first for what your we want to do best and worst.
We'll just say things we
not
like.
Not best and worst, but what we like or dislike.
Yeah, basically.
So what do you want to start with?
Well, I'm going to start at the beginning. With Enterprise.
Oh, so we're just going to go with uniforms and talk about what we like or don't like about them.
That's right.
Okay. I wanted to know the format. I wasn't. Okay, so we're going to go to Enterprise.
So go to the neighborhood of make-believe here.
Yeah, I saw NX-01 behind you, by the way. So here comes Jeff's cam trolley. We're going to the land of make-believe. So we got a all-black version of the Blue Man Group wearing the Enterprise outfits. So, okay. I remember first seeing these in TV Guide, because if you remember, they had a picture of the Enterprise of Scott Bakula and Jolene Blaylock and all of them. Well, not Jolene Blaylock. She was just like a tree. But anyway, they had everybody dressed up in their outfits. And the first thing when I saw these outfits, I knew it was going to take place in the 22nd century. I thought of NASA outfits.
Yeah.
They had the patches. And I noticed they went back to the TOS style of rant coloration, where the command was mustard and the engineering was red. I also went back to that color scheme, the TOS era color scheme.
Yeah.
And, actually, to be honest with you, for the era they took place in, I thought it was actually a pretty good uniform. I think it was a good uniform because it kind of mixed the NASA spaceshipy design with the early Starfleet thing. It had patches, it had zippers. It just melded our present world with the Star Trek universe in a reasonable enough way.
Yeah.
So to me, I'd say it was a like. It was a like uniform for me. For what it was, for the time period it was taking place in. If it had been during QS's era, I might not have liked it, but for that era, I'd say it worked very effectively for what it was supposed to be. So you have any views on the Enterprise outfits?
The one thing that I thought was kind of odd was the amount of zippers this uniform had.
Yeah, there was a lot of zippers, I guess.
Well, let's see. There's one. They got one on the side of the arm here. They got another one here. There's another one here. One across the top, one down here, two across the bottom, one along the side of the bottom. And I'm wondering, is that supposed to mean that they had attachments to these uniforms?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they were cargo or something, or they wanted people to put equipment in it, or I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I also noticed on the back, there's these, looks like buttonholes or something like that, maybe for something to be attached here, like maybe pouches or to carry things in.
Maybe at that time, maybe there were backpacks that went with it. I think I saw them using backpacks a lot in Enterprise.
Yeah.
So because they use backpacks occasionally throughout the Star Trek. They had them in the cage. So maybe that was just for a backpack or for some extravehicular thing, or maybe that's how they hung when they were not being used or whatever. I'm sure because you think about it, it kind of goes with that whole thing too, that this was taking place kind of post NASA, World Space Agency, pre-Federation kind of world where things were still similar to today.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it was more utilitarian, and the zippers were there in case they needed it for, maybe there was a parachute or something in the back. I don't know.
Huh. Well, yeah, that's something
I don't know. I mean, with Enterprise, they never really explored that as much as they did the shuttle pods.
Yeah.
But the whole thing's much more NASA-like world. It doesn't really feel like the Federation we know, where everything seems to be all well-oiled. They were kind of making, so maybe that was for an idea they didn't go with, because that was all improvisation on Enterprise. They were making up as they went along. They weren't, it wasn't something that they were just at all polished brass or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know what those zippers are for. I mean, I'm sure that there are people who can guess, but I don't really know myself what those. And I noticed they had zippers, but they'd always kind of act like they weren't there. But I just never paid attention to them. They're like, what did Spock say about the inner eyelids Vulcan have? He said, we tend to ignore them like you ignore your appendix.
Yeah.
I always kind of thought of those as appendix. I don't know. I remember they have these ribbings on the back a lot. They have these heavy sewn ribbings.
Yes.
I don't know if, I'm wondering if those flapped up or something, and there was a parachute or some sort of, you never saw somebody on Enterprise jump off a cliff and a parachute pop out. When I mean, but I'm just saying that I don't know. Maybe they had, because in NASA, oftentimes the extravehicular outfits had parachutes or some maybe a flotation device. I don't know, because they were going to new planets and they were the first ship to do that. This wasn't a class of ship yet, but there weren't any others. Maybe it was like a singular mission, and they just had these all-purpose outfits for different conditions.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can figure. I mean, it's the best guess I can think of why they had it.
Yeah.
Because they weren't all planned. So any other remarks you got to make about the Enterprise era outfits?
Nope. I guess that's pretty much it there on that. Okay. So
now into TOS.
Yep.
The classic outfit.
These are more the pilot episode uniforms, because you can see the colors.
Okay, so these are like the Cage, and When No Man Is Gone Before era.
That's right.
It's funny. I never really saw the red uniforms in any of that. The red ones. You remember who was wearing the red ones in the Cage in the second pilot?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there was Maybe because this, I don't know if this is like fan created. This was like on, there's a website for uniforms if you clicked on it or something like that.
Yeah, because we were talking about this issue just the other day, how in Where No Man Has Gone Before, Spock had a gold outfit.
That's right.
And he's a commander. But in the most of TOS, he wore a blue outfit, and in the Cage too, indicating his science position. So for the most part, in the Cage, you saw blue and gold outfits.
That's right.
And I never saw that red one. And there's another one on the end. I don't even know what that is, like a black.
Well, yeah, you can't really see it too well because it's a dark uniform, but it's actually the away uniform that they
Oh, is that
wore.
one they had the backpack with?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that is. But it's got a red collar, and that kind of threw me off because
That's that's the shirt they wear under it.
in those pilots.
Yeah.
I remember. I know the female uniforms. I believe that the kind of gold one was that the one that what's her name, Yeoman Cult had.
Yeah.
And the other one is basically Dr. Dana's outfit.
Yeah.
With the pants, the one Sally Kellerman had, because she had the pants.
Yeah. It was like a variant of the female.
Right. Didn't was it Yeoman Cult wear the scant, or did she have pants? I remember having.
I can't remember now. I thought maybe I thought she wore the pants. I don't know, but.
Or was that Yeoman Smith who had the one with the scant?
Yeah, I think it was Smith. Yeah.
The one that Kirk called Jones for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why he called her Jones when she said her name was Smith. But maybe he looked like somebody he knew. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. The red outfit, I never saw that red variant of the Cage thing.
Yeah.
In fact, the engineers wore these, or the people in the transporter wore these very non-regulation smock things.
What about the Where No Man Has Gone Before? Do you remember if anybody in that wore the red?
Well, there were some engineers walking around on Delta Vega setting up all that stuff with Lieutenant Kelso, but the thing is, they seem to be wearing that gold stuff. I never saw anybody wearing a red outfit. Maybe they were in the background somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, do you ever watch Star Trek and just look at background characters, not believe people were just background characters walking around the corridors and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, they go by so fast sometimes you don't really see them.
I mean, usually in TOS and even the Cage, weren't there a lot of people in these non-regulation kind of smocky things?
Yeah.
Like enlisted people?
That's true, yeah. They're sort of like, it didn't look like a uniform, kind of looked like a robe a little bit,
Yeah, sort of like, like a non-regulation smock. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the blue one because Doctors Boyce and Piper wore that.
Yeah.
And Sulu when he was a physicist. But I never saw the green the red uniform on Cage era uniform on anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's just weird. So anyway, what do I think of these uniforms? Well, they're the first ones. They're kind of they're kind of basic and casual. They're like TOS kind of casual wear, They're not very fancy, but they work for a pilot. The ribbed turtleneck was an interesting choice. It kind of they kind of made them seem more professorly, I guess.
Yeah.
I always think of a turtleneck as being a professor type thing, They're just your basic shirts. They're basically like a early version of TOS.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, on the women's outfits, that big thick that big thick bulgy collar, it only got bulgier and thicker with a lot of them because Chapel had that big thing that came. Well, we'll get into that a little bit, but yeah, they kind of didn't use that big chunky neck.
Yeah, I never understood the purpose for why they did it like that. I don't know. Maybe it was just to show that it was a female shirt instead of a male shirt.
It's an odd fashion choice because it makes it look bulkier and heavier. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's a gender differentiation.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. So any comments you have to make about this? With me, oh, by the way, as far as like or dislike, for what they are, like with Enterprise, I like them fine. So I like, basically. You?
Well, if you notice on these uniforms, the Delta shield is a bit smaller than what you see later.
Yeah, these little tiny patches that didn't have the black ribbing on the side.
Yeah.
They were kind of gold with a lighter gold in the middle and then a lighter, darker gold.
Yeah. I think, like I said, like you were saying, they're kind of plain a little bit. It's like, maybe they kind of give you the illusion that it's just a pullover top. And, you know, the pants really didn't have a whole lot there. I mean, except for the fact that they were kind of short. So, you know, because in the military, today's military, you know, if you look at people in the military, their uniforms, they always blouse their pants over their boots or something like that. So you see the boots, and they kind of copied that a little bit with this style. But I don't know, it always seemed annoying and a little bit, you know, to have your pant legs that short, like they're ready for a flood. You know,
Yeah,
I just,
what do you call high waters?
yeah. I mean, I just like
High
it.
water
Just
pants.
unless they were actually tucked into the boots, it didn't really make much sense to have them cut like that. You know,
I
like
just,
short.
but, you know, how often do they really show the characters their pants anyway? It was mostly like,
Well, sometimes when you see William Shatner throwing himself around and the pant legs go up, you could see his you know, shin bone there underneath it, or a sock and kind of
yeah,
sticking
like
out.
one of the like the bare knuckle fist fight with Mitchell.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, it just seemed a little bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see your point on that to a certain degree. I guess with those uniforms, I always kind of looked at the uniform and the pants. I don't know. I kind of cast of the wind. So,
Yeah.
would it be a like or dislike with you?
I'm like,
Or kind of
it's
in the
kind of
middle?
like a dislike, I guess. Maybe, you know, it's not. I mean, I like the improvement they made to him as the series started. You know, they added a little bit more to it. You know, so but the pants they kept the same, and like I said, I never really cared for the pants like that. So,
Okay.
um, so that's that.
So, okay. Okay, so these are the uniforms you were talking about a few minutes ago that they wore in the transporter room. Now, these are these like what USPA uniforms, like United Aerospace Probe Agency kind of uniforms?
The blue one is what the medical officer wore, and the tan one is for the transporter.
Yeah, and these are these odd non-regulation things. You know, I don't even know what you call them. They look kind of like NASA gear of the time, like
Yeah,
engineers. It just doesn't quite go with the flow of what happens. You know, they get a belt, they get this big collar, and they get a little like a little logo on it. It's just like a smock. I don't know. It always stuck out to me as being odd. Um, uh, I think I'm kind of in the middle on it, but I'd probably go for a dislike because I prefer them in the regular outfits. You know, just me.
yeah.
Because these things they just kind of didn't quite go with the flow. You know, they're the right colors, but they just seem like they were somebody else's outfits, like they came from earlier.
They look more like engineer outfits or something, you know, that you would
That, and you know
wear.
what? They're really close related to Enterprise outfits in a lot of ways. They're very
Yeah,
close to XO1 vibe. That kind of you expect to see all these zippers all over them. You know, they have that just kind of cargo-y, smocky engineering vibe, like you said.
yeah,
But you know, I don't know if they were planning on having the enlisted people wear these things at the time. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's just,
But hey, they don't have the high waters. You know.
yeah, they don't, yeah, they had the right length. But yeah, they have this. It looks like a United Nations symbol
Yeah,
stenciled onto the.
that's why I'm wondering if it was like USPA symbol because remember they
Yeah,
had the USPA and the United Space Probe Agency.
yeah,
I think that was like the USPA symbol. I always thought like the Federation symbol. I don't know. Maybe those are just like plain Federation uniforms. You know, Starfleet is actually an adjunct.
yeah,
So maybe
yeah.
that's a Federation outfit. That's a plain Federation outfit, not Starfleet.
Yeah.
Like a
I mean,
Federation enlisted personnel or something.
yeah. You're probably onto something there. Maybe that's probably what it is.
The Starfleet have this distinctive look. This is just very generic, and it doesn't really. It's just like they just slap the Federation symbol on it, like it could be anybody's outfit. It kind of
Yeah,
goes to the color scheme of the other people, but it just is kind of a generic thing.
yeah.
Like I said, this would. Okay, so here we're in TOS, right?
Yep. This is TOS. Uh, we start with the what you have the duty uniform and you have the captain's variant.
Yes, and I was going to ask you a question. That little tunic the captain had that went the green tunic.
Yeah.
Do you think any other personnel on the ship had that, or was that a captain's only thing?
I think, yeah, it says on the thing captain variant, so I think only the captain wore that style.
That green thing and I
Yeah,
noticed that the Delta symbol near the belt.
yeah, it kind of goes halfway around the waist a little bit, you know. Of
Well,
course,
I wanted to ask you a question about the uniform change from I don't know if you've seen them, early publicity photos from around where No Man has gone before, around the Corbomite maneuver. There's a photograph of Yeoman Rand and Kirk and Spock with these big colored flashlights. I don't think you've ever seen that.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeoman Rand has this bang bun kind of haircut, and she has this kind of yeoman cult / Smith chunky outfit, yeah, kind of a mustard outfit, and also the uniforms they're wearing are kind of like the TOS outfit, Spock and Kirk, but instead of having the black collar as kind of part of the uniform, it's like a turtleneck underneath it. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like for a while they had two shirts on, like they had
that kind of turtlenecky, or that kind of, not dicky, that's the word. They had like a dicky type thing, where, like a black thing underneath it. Because didn't they have that in Naked Time, where they very clearly had the black dicky underneath it?
Yeah, there was also another I saw, but I don't know if this actually was used, but there was a picture of a black jumpsuit, and they would pull the shirt over that. Like, so underneath was actually the black jumpsuit, and they would wear their department uniform over the top of it.
Yeah, because later on it kind of looked like it was more just a regular whole outfit. The regular shirt was just a whole its own thing.
Yeah, like there was nothing under it. But sometimes, when you see William Shatner throwing himself around, sometimes you could see that he was wearing a black undershirt, sometimes not. And, it just seemed like, maybe, for a while they probably wore that, I don't know, or maybe they changed it,
Yeah, that could be. But, as far as I'm concerned, just to, just to be honest, in a way, I sort of prefer the TOS uniforms the way they evolved.
Yeah.
Because, with Starfleet, in the situations we get into, the less bulky it is, the easier it is.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I'm going to say this, I really love that captain's tunic. I mean, I like the fact that it's not even regulation, it's like a green.
Yeah.
It just looks kind of cool. I don't know. Now, of course, TOS has a lot of different outfits, but there's one outfit in TOS, we've talked about this, and I wanted to mention this, that I absolutely wholeheartedly dislike, and it isn't a regulation uniform. It's whatever that is Ambassador Fox had on a Mini R7.
I'm not so sure that was a uniform. It was probably just a
No, but that's the ambassador outfit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they got any actor into that thing. It looked like a frog. It looked like a frog prince, like somebody in King Arthur's court.
Yeah.
Big froggy thing. It didn't look befitting to a Starfleet ambassador with any standing.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And I thought to myself, I'm hoping that isn't some regulation uniform they just slap on ambassadors in the Federation.
Yeah.
Because, usually, you get the impression ambassadors or political figures just kind of wear fancy versions of their own clothing or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was like, I don't know, maybe there was some 24th, 3rd century fashion that we are not privy to, but...
Yeah, it's probably like their version of what, a suit jacket is today, with a tie and all that, but that's what they
and
wear.
A giant frog thing at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, there was paisley on the front, so that was interesting. And I could have done with that, but that collar, no. But no, I like the fact that Kirk's collar on the captain's variant is open, because mine is kind of open too. So I like the, just because I have a situation where I need a little more neck room now. I the casual uniform, I like the fact the neck is a little more open and it kind of slims the characters down and everything. It's just I like the gold stuff at the top. And the little V at the bottom. Although I noticed something about these uniforms, looking at them now, they kind of brought the high waters back.
Yeah.
When they didn't have them in civilian outfits, but whatever we were looking at, they brought the high waters pants back.
Yeah.
I don't really notice it in TOS them coming apart so much. But these are classic TOS outfits. They're just part of the Star Trek lore. And there's a lot of variations. I don't know if you have the other variations of the female outfits up here.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
There was a scant. And but yeah, basically, that TOS era, I mean, it's pretty classic. I'm gonna give it a like, especially that captain's tunic. I thought that was a great look.
Yeah. The thing that I liked is that with the shirts, they put the black collar at the top instead of having just a plain same colored turtleneck or puffy kind of collar like they did with the pilot uniforms. It kind of broke up the the straight color all the way to the neck, which I thought was a nice added little touch to the top. It kind of changed it a little bit. And they actually made the Delta shield a little bit bigger on the uniform. And they finally got the rank system right with the sleeves, because if you remember on the pilot episodes, the captain just wore 2 gold stripes around the wrist instead of the way the Navy has it today. Like you have the 2 stripes and then the broken stripe in the middle.
Yeah, that whole pilot thing of ironing out all those kinks they had to deal with. So.
Yeah, so they kind of fixed it. And like you said, with this leisure uniform, yeah, I liked it. It kind of, like I said, it looked leisurely. I mean, that's the thing. You can tell it's not your average duty uniform. It's just something the captain wears,
Right. And the one thing I like about the duty uniforms of this era in general is they all kind of look very casual.
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as non-casual outfits, we're going to be getting to that, I think. So, but these outfits, to me, I think these are the prototype for what they did in the Next Generation and Voyager and everything. And this is kind of the vibe that they ended up going with even the later shows.
Yeah.
Just that kind of casual yet officious looking vibe. Okay, so there's the female scan. I believe that's kind of a Yeoman Rand.
Yep.
Ish, Uhura-ish outfit with the boots. I wanted to ask you a question. I mean, Nichelle Nichols mentioned this a lot, that a lot of people at the time thought she felt exploited in the miniskirt. She saw it as a symbol of women's liberation. I want to know, is the skirt a yay or nay, or do you think women should be wearing the same regular uniforms the men do at that point?
The short skirt was a bit much, I think. Even, I mean, because most of the time you could see their underpants, when they're, just walking around. And why would you consider that to be liberating a woman by having her become more of a sexist object? That's to me, that I never understood that when they would say, well, this was, the women's movement back then. It's like, well, what are you saying? That women should walk around showing everything to the public, and so that way men won't exploit them? They're going to do exactly the opposite. So I never understood this uniform or why they went with that.
And the scant would come around later too.
Yeah, the scant was, it just didn't belong at all on either man or woman. It's silly, and I never liked it.
Now, I noticed, and this is just me maybe thinking about that time. Whenever I see the TOS dress uniforms, I always think of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yeah.
It just has a Beatle vibe to it. With the this kind of officious British cut with the little clusters all over it.
Yeah.
And again the high waters. So, but I just have that. It has that Sgt. Pepper look to me. And the gold ribbing. I don't mind it. I mean, I noticed Kirk's dress uniform is the same color as his casual outfit.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And that kind of green. I guess they were into like green variants or something. But,
yeah.
It's funny. Bones had a blue one. Spock had a blue one. And another thing, if I remember, aren't they kind of shinier material?
Yeah, it's made out of, I think, silk. I think it looks like a silk kind of material.
Like I said, I like the dress uniform. Basically that's a like for me. The scant, is there a middle of the road policy here, or is it straight like or dislike? I'm just, because there's the scant.
No, I don't like it. Never did.
I dislike the scant. I'm just used to it, so it's hard to say. But I guess, would it be saying I dislike it if I said it wouldn't be my personal fashion choice for the female characters?
Well, let's put it like this. If you're a guy working on the bridge, you don't want to be distracted. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, I guess maybe the idea of women's liberation is that we can go around looking fashionable and mod, and they're not looking up our dresses. That may have been the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because there's episodes where you see the guys leering at Yeoman Rand as she's walking through the corridor. So obviously that was still an issue even in the
the Yeoman thing. I don't know. That whole position seemed a little dicey at that point. But I mean, yeah, the scant. I'm not quite up on.
Yeah, it's definitely not a uniform look to me. I mean, it doesn't look like anything you would see in the military. I mean, imagine if our, women today in the Air Force were wearing something like that. I mean, it's like,
Well,
what the hell?
one thing about military uniforms, especially today, is they're very gender neutral.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
Right. I mean, and like I said, there should just be a basic uniform, basically. And I don't know, unless, and I did see this later. There was a male version of this scan, but it wasn't the series. So let's just, we'll discuss that when we get to it. But yeah.
Okay, I put this picture in because of the symbol that he's wearing. That was the Defiant symbol, and I wanted to add that
from Enterprise. I believe that's the Mirror Universe read.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that the badges were different for each ship at the time. Everybody wasn't wearing the Delta Shield. Everybody had something different there because
I know what you're saying. Discovery, get over here. I know you're trying to get in. Go over there.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know why this whole Delta symbol thing happened, but I noticed something about the Defiant symbol. I think it's kind of a reverse Delta symbol, like a sideways.
Well, that's because my images that I'm projecting here are backward. That's why you're seeing it that way. So just put a mirror up in front of it, that'll unreverse.
Like I said, when you saw, I was watching Omega Gloria today, and they had the Exeter's insignia was totally different because all the ships had different insignias.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I used to like making up symbols for different ships. So I used to try to design a new patch, for each ship.
All you had to do was draw them on some kind of paper or felt material, and there you were.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun, but then when everybody went to just the Delta Shield, it kind of took that uniqueness away, which was like, I thought it was kind of a letdown a little bit, but it's like, okay, well, so everybody's going to wear that now. So, so I kind of missed that.
Yeah, I know. The mirror stuff, right?
Yeah, this is the mirror stuff.
Yeah, if we get into that. So the mirror stuff, is it me, or does it feel a little like a variation on the dress uniform?
It has dressy aspects to it, especially the Spock one there, the first officer. It looks like they just took a dress uniform and they put this gold belt around it, tied it, and they just put different symbols on it. The captain, they just gave him a vest that's gold. Really, I mean, a lot of gold. It looks really goldy or something. It has a gold belt. They don't show the daggers they wear, but they wear daggers. And the boots go way up to the knees on the captain's uniform, but the first officer has the regular boots.
Yeah, again, the captain doesn't get high waters, and this one he has giant water boots, I guess. And then, the Spock gets the high waters. And I should note that apparently, just about every Vulcan that appears in the Mirror Universe instantly has a beard. So,
yeah,
it's just like there's even a rock band who calls themselves Spock's Beard. So I guess that's a symbol of the Mirror Universe that Vulcans all have these little beards or whatever. So yeah, but the Mirror Universe, the thing to me, they always remind me of kind of an imperial France, kind of a Napoleonic vibe, mixed with a vibe of a pirate.
Yeah.
Kirk's outfit is very pirate-like, very Jolly Roger, but it also has that Napoleonic sash that looks kind of imperial.
Yeah.
So, the idea is it's a TOS sort of look, but has that militaristic, imperial kind of look to it. More predatory, but it goes with what it is.
Yeah. I think, the vest was fine, but I think he should have wore a shirt under it, like maybe something black, and the vest over that. It probably would have looked more distinct.
Maybe. I don't know, unless, Shatner just wanted to show his arms off or something,
Yeah, it just seemed a little bit, ununiformy look, it just too piratey. I mean, because if everybody else looks official around you and you're walking around wearing that, it doesn't blend,
Unless the whole idea is that, just remember, I'm the captain, I can look fancier than all of you.
Yeah.
Because the Mirror Universe, you remember, is all extremely hierarchy.
Exactly.
Where in Starfleet, if you kill the next person above you, you move up in rank, and that's how everybody survives.
Yeah.
And moves up. And so, the idea, maybe they just want to be the category because they like those little outfits. I don't know.
Yeah.
They would make sense if they're Imperial. The captain would get some special outfit where, oh, look at my arms. They may even have tattoos or something on them. I don't know.
Yeah. In a way, it kind of looks a little bit Klingon, because if you remember...
Yeah, good point. It has that Klingon-y, had a warrior look to it.
Yeah, it's got that silver vest for the Klingons. but they wear a black shirt under it, so maybe that's probably why I think the black shirt under this one would be better. But so that's just my opinion.
But anyway, now that you're talking about him, would it be a like or a dislike for you?
I like the style for Spock. I like the gold for the captain. I just don't like, the idea that he doesn't have a shirt on under the vest to give it a little more of a uniform look. But I do like the vest. I just wouldn't wear it without the shirt, or if I had a shirt to go under it. So it's a little bit of a mix, with that.
So with me, yeah, basically I would say that, for what it is, more of a like. I must say that maybe this is just a personal aesthetic thing for me, look-wise. I'm not really fond of a shirt overcut all kinds of buttons and badges, but I know it works.
Yeah.
So, yes, on Spock's uniform especially, I actually like Kirk's outfit for what it is, just for kind of that boastful element. But I could do without those little pins everywhere. They're just, I know it's for what it is. It's supposed to be imperial looking, but there's just too much clutter on the uniform. I just prefer one, like the mirror Star Parent Empire symbol, but they got all these little things all over them, so they're really into decoration. If I remember, okay, so here are the different symbols for the ships.
Well, the department symbols like the cross, the star, the
right,
sign.
and I see the little cage insignia down there too.
Yeah.
That little tiny one. I forget how small that thing is.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be Starfleet Command, and that one's USS Antares symbol.
Oh yeah, because Captain Raymart had that, didn't he?
Yeah.
When he brought Charles Evans on board.
Yes. And this one over here is the Exeter.
Right, that's when they were wearing an Omega Glory. So yeah.
Yeah.
Long.
This one's the Constellation.
Right, Matt Decker's one.
Yeah.
Because each ship had a different symbol, but they still had the same. Except I noticed the one for the Antares didn't have the little delta thing inside.
That's right.
It was I don't know. Maybe that was like the civilian ships had a different thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now, just to make a point, didn't the Antares crew members have Cage era outfits?
Yeah, they did.
Maybe they've been out a little longer. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because if you remember, I mean, it seemed like uniform styles didn't really catch up to everybody right off the bat. It just gradually spread throughout the fleet.
We sure see that in the next generation, but we're getting back.
Yeah.
So if I remember,
now you see the size difference between the Cage Science and that one. See, it was
like
smaller. Yeah, they made it like twice the size when they went to TOS, the series itself.
I remember when you saw the show, you could barely see the patch. It was like a little tiny thing.
That's right. Which is, I didn't like it because it made the uniform look, I don't know, it didn't seem to go right. It should have been bigger, so it was right to enlarge it.
Well, I prefer the later ones they had with the black because you can see them better.
That's right.
I mean, the original ones look like a stain on the outfit. They don't look like a real insignia at all. They're like a stain or something.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really see the difference between the badges by looking at the symbol because it was so tiny. The camera couldn't pick it up. So when they enlarged it, then now you can see that there was a star here, there was circles here, and they had this little thing here, and this. Then you knew there was some difference. You could see it better.
Right? Didn't Chapel wear the one with the medical cross in it?
Yep, she did. I think the nurses I think wore that one.
Now Bones, didn't he wear a science thing?
Bones, yeah, he had. This was supposed to be the science and medical. I think they put two.
I think both have a circle.
Yeah.
Where Chapel, I think, in them wore the, and some of the other people wore the cross.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting how they had the little, because we kind of lost that in later series. We kind of lost that department differentiation.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's more uniform decoration, but I guess it goes with it. And we've been discussing these a lot lately.
Yeah.
And just for me personally, I really do feel they're generally underrated. But I feel they're pretty underrated, actually.
I mean, just from this picture right here, you could see there's several variations here of the motion picture uniform. I mean, it may look quickly like they're all the same, but they're not. This, I'm assuming that it's more, just for admirals, I guess, to wear that style. what William Shatner's wearing. And Spock actually, he has this. If you notice under his collar,
he's got like a little dicky under there too.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why he had that, and they were really thinking ahead, was because Vulcans like it warm, and I think that undershirt made him warmer underneath. So they would give him that to wear under. It's not so much a department thing; it's just that he's a Vulcan, and the Vulcans wear an extra layer under the uniform to keep warm.
Right, and I noticed that Bones had a V-neck.
Yeah, he has quite different ones. He actually had one that was all white.
Yeah, he had that white thing. I think he wore that in later movies too, if I remember. He wore a white.
Yeah, they kept it in the Wrath of Khan. He was still wearing it even there. Scotty had some different uniforms.
And we have Uhura, Chekhov, and Sulu they changed it from mustard to beige for some reason.
They did. They took the beige one. I think it was a brighter version of that. It looked too yellow, I think.
Yeah, it was a weird thing they did with that. But I noticed one thing: they got rid of the red color.
Yeah.
Everybody either wore blue or beige or whatever that mustardy beige thing they were doing was.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people say these look kind of like pajamas to them, but
the reason it did, because if you look at the legs here, let me see if I can zoom in on one here. There's like a fold. Can you see where I'm pointing?
Yep.
It goes right down and it goes under the shoe. The pants actually go tucked under the shoe. Now, if you remember back when we were kids, they used to have pajamas for kids and they had feet on them. Okay. And the pajama for the little kids that had feet on them kind of looked like that, where they were wearing the foot bottom. But what this was that the pants had a strap that went under the heel, under the boot, so it kind of pulled the pants down, like, gave it a straight line down, so it didn't look like in the TOS where it kind of looked a little bit flared. They got the flared look away and they had the pants actually attached to the foot.
Right, and that eliminated the high waters. So
that's right. So that it changed it around.
So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say with these a very big like, and I wish we saw more of them. In fact, I wish they had done a phase 2 and this had been the look.
Yeah, I agree. I like these too. I mean, because the one thing is if you look at the background, it's all gray, okay, and it stayed that way pretty much through all the movies. That background, and these uniforms don't clash with the background. They kind of go with that pastel look, which it looks more futuristic that they look this way. With the environment or in the background, has that sort of like a mechanical kind of look to it, like these uniforms are doing other things other than just being uniforms, because they got this belt here that's actually
sending. Talk about what that was, because you were telling me several times what that's supposed to be. So
yeah, this constantly is sending information throughout it to McCoy's office on their current health status, and McCoy can just punch it up on a computer to find out how a person's health is doing at any given moment. And that's what these were for, was monitoring their health signs, their heartbeat,
So it's an internal sensor.
Yeah.
Or shall we say an internal detector circuit?
Don't make me laugh when I drop this camera here.
We can have a quota for that, that's kind of our thing we do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the detector circuit is, that thing. Maybe that's the detector circuit.
Yeah. And another thing to note is that everybody wore a communicator around their wrist.
Right, they have the wrist communicators.
Yeah. So, because I remember on, what was it? Like on the Next Generation, they always wore their communicators on their uniforms. Well, they were doing that on the motion picture, just had it around their wrists. And if you remember in the movie, they constantly used them on the ship. They didn't press buttons so much on the walls or anything like that like you did in TOS. They had the communicator right there and they could contact anybody, which made more sense than to run somewhere down to find a wall mount so you can contact somebody. They can just get a hold of you right wherever you were on the ship. So I thought that was a pretty neat advancement there,
Now, we don't, there's a bunch of uncertainty about when after TOS this took place, because Scotty said it was 18 months. A lot of people assume almost a year and a half after the 5-year mission. But, I don't know. Some say as much as 10 years after. I don't really have an idea. But it looks very much more futuristic than TOS.
Yeah, it does. It looks quite a bit futuristic. Yeah.
That's why I always wondered if there was some years between them.
Well, yeah, realistically, it was about 10 years,
Oh
but
yeah, in real life. I mean, it
it's
was a long time because
yeah,
these don't look anything like TOS. They have a whole different look to them.
that's right.
And by this point, the Delta symbol, I believe, had been adopted by all of Starfleet. So
That's right.
there's a fan series about how this happened. It's pretty plausible, but still not canon. So too bad because I liked it.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a hard thing to just assume that that's what happened because it's really not that big of a brainstorm. But even here, I mean, when you got these shields, they all have a different color. You can't really see it in this picture, but
Right, some of them were red, some of them were white. And
yeah, the white designated command. So like the first officer and the captain would wear a white underneath the shield with the circle in the background. So,
yeah, back in the day when we used to get intergalactic trading company catalogs, remember they used to have all those patches you could order?
yeah, there's quite a bit of them.
And they had each individual one. I believe the uniform you made for me, the motion picture uniform you made me with the karate gi, remember?
Yep.
You got a wooden thing from Basket World, and you painted that little detector circuit, whatever thing on there. I'm going to call it that now because it seems cool. That's the detector circuit,
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what it's called, but it seems to be kind of cool thing to call it since it's a sensor. And you actually got one of those patches for that, didn't you? It was like a white version of it.
Yeah, I did buy one. They weren't that expensive. It's just
they weren't expensive at the time. No, I probably do them custom now because they're little things. They're not as small as the ones in the cage, but they're a little smaller than the TOS patches. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, and also like the way the shirts had that line, that sew line, that kind of came down from the shoulder and kind of went towards the belt. I thought that was pretty neat.
It kind of made it all seem like it was modular somehow.
Yeah, it did. And of course, the collar, they had that sort of like a fabric that went down, sort of like a down arrow kind of thing at the.
Now that I think about it, when I look at this, when you look at these uniforms, you see that Space 1999 has happened, and the whole thing is much more streamlined.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite have the same. It has a similar casual air to TOS, but it seems much more uniform-like, especially Kirk. Kirk seems very officious.
Yeah, it looks very official. And if you remember, like TV shows like Buck Rogers and sci-fi at the time, everybody was going with that streamlined kind of feel to it.
Right, that 70s kind of look.
Yeah, because I remember watching Jason of Star Command. I don't know how many people remember that, but the outfits they wore on that, and actually I think James Doohan starred in that a little bit too. But yeah, they all had sort of like this pastel streamline.
Yeah, that was the 70s sci-fi look. So I think that basically the motion picture coming out in 79 adopted that sci-fi uniform look at the time.
Yeah, so they kind of fit the aesthetic.
So with me, it's definitely a like, and I think they're actually terribly underrated. And I'll say that I really like them.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad that the females actually got pants. Finally.
Yes, now we're seeing the Ilea with a mini skirt, but that's the Ilea probe.
Well, yeah, she's wearing a bathrobe or something.
Right, she's wearing the one she got when she got out of the shower. But anyway.
Yeah.
The real Ilea wore like a regular uniform with pants, like kind of like Spock's a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, originally, she wore,
And Uhura's wearing pants, and so I think that works better. Although Uhura still kind of has a mini skirt, sort of, but it's different.
Yeah, it's the shirt. It just goes down kind of long. They all have that long shirt kind of thing.
Yeah, it isn't. It looks like a mini skirt, but she has pants, and there's no leg or anything showing. It's just more an outfit.
Yeah, it looks more flattering that way than it does without it. So I'm glad they decided not to go that way with this.
I really can't complain about any of these outfits. Okay, so here's McCoy's white outfit.
And you could see the symbol that he wears is different. It's what do you call that? It's
That's the medical symbol.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it looks like a snake wrapped up around a, I don't know.
Yeah, is there an official name for that thing?
I can't remember what they call it, but he's got these like pins on his shoulder here, and I've been asking around, what these were, and everybody seems to draw from the motion from the Wrath of Khan, the symbols they wore on that's what they were wearing. But I'm saying no, that's not what they wore, because if you get up close on the movie, you could see there's absolutely nothing similar at all to what they were wearing in the second movie. These are all different.
By the way, I've got the name of that. It's called the Caduceus, which is another name for the staff of Hermes.
Okay.
It's from Greek mythology and Greco-Egyptian mythology, and it is often mistakenly used as a symbol of medicine, even though it has more to do with mythology. But like I said, it's used as a symbol of medicine in the United States for some reason. I'm sure there's a story behind what that caduceus thing or the staff of Hermes is, but that's what that's called apparently.
Yeah. So, and you can see Kirk is wearing the traditional captain's.
Yeah, he's wearing a regular captain's outfit there. He's out of the admiral thing.
Yeah, because he took a temporary grade reduction from admiral to captain in order to command the Enterprise for this mission. But you could see it's just a regular, uniform with the belt and all that, and so this guy here on the side, I think, is one of the nurses or something like that, and it looks like just a color, like a gray color for this emblem here.
Yeah, and then Bones has also across his.
That's right. Which I'm trying to figure out what it means, but I never got to it. Now I got this crowd shot.
Here's the crowd shot with all the people in the room with Epsilon 9 and everything.
I mean, you see all kinds of variations of.
Right, because I believe isn't that Janice Rand in front?
Yep, that's a close
those
up.
things on the shoulder too, those big heavy.
Yeah, and it's a better shot. It looks like there's like this gold square with a red dot in the middle, and it has like some red here on the back of it and the front of it.
Yeah, and she's got the red in her badge, so.
Yeah, so that might mean something there. And you see this guy here is wearing something with these weird sleeves.
Yeah, it's like Spock's outfit in The Voyage Home.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that robe.
Like Spock's puffy Vulcan robe.
Yeah.
And I know people in these uniforms that are straight white. I mean, straight white.
Yeah, these two fellas here, they got straight white.
There's some more white uniforms over there in the background, and unless
this one is an engineering outfit.
Straight white to me.
This one's an engineering outfit, and you can tell because there's the boot that he's wearing.
Right, because engineers had that big circular thing in the front.
Yeah. What's that? Or where are you talking about?
No, and the engineers had the big puffy thing in the front of their white outfits.
Oh yeah, that where you hook up a hose or something. Yeah,
right.
I mean, this is one of those outfits there.
Okay, but you can't see the front of them. But yeah, those white uniforms. Are those like ensigns or enlisted people or what? Those plain white outfits.
I'm guessing they're probably engineering staff, because the white goes with Scotty when he was down there working. Maybe they're just
they replaced the red with a white color. I don't know. That's weird, but I never noticed the white uniforms too much. Oh, I think I noticed one, or maybe she was wearing Bones' outfit. Chapel had something like that.
Yeah.
Only hers was more like Bones.
Yeah.
Dr. Chapel by this point.
Yeah. And here, here's another shot.
I believe that one of James Doohan's sons is in here.
Yeah, I'll be damned if I can find him though, because I don't know what he looked like at the time.
Now the bald guy in the blue outfit, is he a Vulcan or something? Or is he a Delta?
I think he's Deltan, yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of Deltans in here.
Yeah, there's another bald guy. So are all the bald characters Deltans on this ship or something?
I guess. I think, this guy here is Deltan, that one's Deltan. There's an alien here, you could barely see him. Let me see if I can get up close here. You see the blue head there?
Oh, is that the Saurian?
I guess. I forgot what his species name was.
Yeah, they made figures of all those people. I see a Vulcan, the pointy ear.
Yeah, they have a Vulcan, and they have a Native American.
It looks like a Plains First Nation person.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people that crowd scene. There's a lot of characters in there.
Yeah, you could spend all day looking at all the uniforms and the faces.
I'm wondering that Native guy, he has braids and everything. I'm wondering why they never had that with Chakotay.
Yeah, instead they just gave him a tattoo, and that he had a crew
cut. They didn't have all that I would have loved him if he had long hair or braids or something.
Yeah, because if you look at it, you really didn't pick up the Indian or Native American feel. I mean, it could have been any.
Well, to be honest, Robert Beltran's actually a Latino actor. He's not Native, I believe, at all.
Is that okay?
But yeah,
but it would have made more sense, I think, to the viewer that because if you put the headband and all that together.
And I know that most Native tribes don't all wear that, but Plains Indians did, so that would make sense. He's a Plains tribe member or whatever. But yeah, I know among these people, I think I saw a little bit of her. Among them is Star Trek superfan writer of the 1968 letter campaign, Bijou Trimble.
Yeah.
She's among these people. I think I saw her because she had that kind of beige little page boy haircut at the time.
Yeah.
She's in the crowd. I know that much. I don't know if her husband was there with her. I believe he was, but I know she was in it. They had her in the crowd scene.
Yeah.
And James Doohan's son, I believe, is in here. So there's a bunch of different people.
Yeah, they had fans in here too, Star Trek fans.
What are they, like a writing thing where you could write it in and enter a contest and then fly out?
I guess that's how they did it. I don't know, but yeah, there was a lot of people that were just fans of Star Trek that showed up for this, and it
would have been really cool to just be able to. I mean, first of all, if I had been there about 20 or something, I would have loved to have worn one of those outfits.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I probably would have picked the white one with those little things on the side because they just kind of look cool,
I noticed something about this other Vulcan. He's wearing what looks like a name tag instead of a shield or a Delta shield. See it?
Maybe he's like an enlisted person or something.
I don't know. It's a very weird thing. It just, I didn't see it right off until I looked, and he's not wearing.
It's weird. Now that I mention it, this whole crowd scene resembles the crowd at a Star Trek convention.
Yeah.
Just the whole look of it. I mean, everybody's looking very organized, but it looks like a Star Trek convention kind of crowd.
Yeah.
This is a vibe. Especially that guy. You see that guy in the brown kind of outfit in back with the red stuff on his shoulders?
This fella?
Yeah, it looks like a Ghostbusters outfit.
Yeah, his uniform kind of looks a little bit baggy.
Yeah, it's a Ghostbusters outfit,
He's probably just a fan.
Yeah, and I notice they have brown outfits in this that you don't really see on the bridge.
That's right. Maybe those were the leftovers from the Phase 2.
Well, in Phase 2, weren't they basically wearing TOS type of outfits?
Well, yeah, but I think they also had, I think they were going with this style here for Phase 2, but they had some different colors that,
I found that interesting. We didn't see much of those guys in the brown outfit.
Yeah. Maybe they're security people.
Maybe they're some ancestors of the 22nd century Makos.
Could be.
Okay, here we have, I believe that's the list of his missing scene, judging by Kirk's expression.
Yeah.
And, I think what we were trying to tune into is the field outfits.
Yeah.
Which are cargo. Those are very cargo. They have those cargo things. And you know what? This may sound weird to you. Is it me or do those away mission shirts remind you a little bit of the Cage?
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because they had that same kind of
the cargo look.
Yeah, you're right.
You put stuff in like tricorders or equipment or whatever you had, detector circuits, whatever. Speaking of which, they didn't have that thing on. They didn't have that little belt thing.
Yeah.
They just and I noticed they show Spock's little turtleneck under there. You mentioned to keep Vulcans warmer.
Yeah, he still wears it. In their arms, they have like different stripe things here for, I guess, departments.
Yeah,
probably.
Boy, the motion picture had all these different clothes, didn't they? Just tons of different clothes.
Yeah, and here Kirk is wearing a jumpsuit now instead of what he had. So he went through several different uniforms in this one movie.
They should have called this Star Trek the uniform picture. I mean, this is
the pageantry.
This uniforms flying all over the place in this one. All these different variations of flying in and out of the scenes.
Star Trek the pageantry.
There you go. Star Trek the beauty pageant. Let's just try and
wear.
Let's start a casual wear. We'll walk down the catwalk, starring James R. or T. Kirk. Whatever.
Evening wear.
Yeah, it is very fashionista the way they keep changing the outfits.
Yeah, it's very unlike the other movies they made later, but it's like they had all these subtle variations in it, and if you weren't paying attention, you would miss it,
Well, if you think about it, the 70s and glamour was back. They probably wanted a glamorous look to things.
Yeah, it was a showy because it had a lot of special effects. And
So they wanted the things to have this kind of, well-tailored look, Because these episodes don't look sloppy. They look well-tailored.
Yeah, they wanted to wow the audience with this movie because it was important to get it going again.
I noticed very little is baggy. Everything kind of fits where it's supposed to fit.
Yeah, it's true. It does. I liked where they had the science station originally here in the back. I liked it there.
Yeah, they had it adjacent to the turbo lift more instead of having it over wherever they had it later. So
yeah, they moved it all the way over here behind Shatner here in this picture. So, basically that's what they did after that. Which I guess it kind of harkened back to the TOS era, because Spock was kind of always on the right, the right side of the captain.
Yeah,
so I guess
it's a totally different bridge, obviously. I mean, that captain's chair, oh my goodness, it's just like it looks like a Lego thing, all these little pieces.
Yeah, little pads, different pads. I guess it's supposed to.
It looks like a car
It was the only time in this movie where you actually saw the headrest rise in the back of the chair.
Yeah, I know. It's like an exotic car seat or something. It was an interesting captain's chair.
Yeah, it had a recline. Yeah, because I remember there was a Gold Key comic thing or something like that where they had a footstool that came out from the bottom.
Oh, wow. Is that like the thing that Sulu was drinking the tea off of or something? Or?
Yeah. It was like they got carried away with that, and they gave the captain a footstool that rolls out like a
I think in 1979 they were kind of going for a bachelor pad kind of vibe with a bridge, everything a little more casual.
Yeah. So yeah, it was that, and yeah, this is.
Okay, so this person put it at about 2271, a few years after the 5-year mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, are these the ones they wore in Epsilon 9, more or less?
This one looks like the Epsilon 9, yeah, because it says station personnel on the thing. Different uniforms were to use in space stations on Epsilon 9. So these were space station uniforms, and this is the coat there that they wore on away missions here. But I wanted to show
that coat.
Yeah. So I wanted to show that picture, which it kind of looks like that Roby thing that you remember we saw in the pilot episode there.
Yeah, the transporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that almost post-Enterprise-y kind of look.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was it looked very, very informal kind of look to it. It had a open neck all the way down the chest,
Yeah, and a belt, and it had those things on the shoulder again, on the collar.
Yeah. So, yeah, it kind of had a karate gi kind of look to it.
Is that kind of what you based that thing you made me on years ago?
Yeah.
Kind of on that Epsilon 90 kind of look.
Yeah, sort of like that, because it did have that, and all you had to really do was get one, and then you have that belt that goes around, and you could just add these emblems, and it would sort of resemble this, a little bit.
Yeah, I guess you need to get the shorts and the little emblems on top. But I always like the motion picture look, When I see Space 1999 now, it definitely is very similar to the motion picture.
Yeah, it is.
A very Space 1999 kind of, the very glammy looking clothes and everything.
Yeah.
Rather than the earthy kind of casual look of TOS. There's the Admiral uniform and the kind of casual variation.
Well, this is the short sleeve one that he wore through a lot of the movie. I think this might have been a short sleeve captain. I'm not sure if it was the short sleeve admiral.
I gotta tell you, and this may weird you out, I always love the idea of short sleeve uniforms, and I really like that one.
Yeah. I don't know why people kind of turn a nose up at a short sleeve, but because even in the military today, you have a short sleeve Air Force uniform and you have the long sleeve one, and depending on the temperature of the day, you're glad you have the short sleeve one or something like that, But this is a little more comfortable. I would think you would call this a little more of a leisure kind of uniform for the admirals or something like that, I guess. It's a little less formal.
Yeah, and I when I was younger, I always had this idea that was actually a variation of that admiral uniform. What they just took parts off of it. I know that's not what they did, but
yeah. Well, it says right here admiral variant, so I guess that's what it was the admiral's uniform.
I always had the impression there was a thing in the front and the side of that they just kind of pulled off, and that was underneath it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I see. But it looks kind of like that.
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah.
Like there was this thing around it that went around the collar, went around the side. They just kind of pull that off. I don't. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know, but it seems very close to it. The content and everything.
Yeah.
Except the And this classic picture, we've seen this with everybody in blue.
Yeah.
Except all of them are a little different. Spock's got that thing underneath him. Kirk's got those little things on the shoulder. And McCoy sort of has that V crew necky thing.
Yeah, it has a collar, so it's like one of the only uniform that really has this rather, this current, like a collar you would see in today's shirts.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about collars on uniforms, but
I don't know. It just doesn't look right to have a collar. I mean,
why did they have like an open uniform, like an open neck or something?
Yeah, I don't understand the collar.
The collar seems a little too dressy for a doctor.
Yeah. I mean, that white one I liked. I mean, but I think the white one had a collar too on it, if I remember right. It said something like that. So I don't know. But yeah, here's another shot, and you see McCoy is wearing something that looks like he has like a scarf underneath his.
I don't know what that is. It's a weird outfit.
Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like he has now he has some weird dicky collar thing on.
Yeah, looks like a scarf, like he's wearing a scarf under his shirt or something,
Yeah, I never saw that outfit in the movie at all.
And look at Scotty's outfit.
Yeah, he has this black dicky thing underneath it, like a turtle.
Looks like that gi, only a black shirt under it, and he's got these weird emblems on his shoulder here. Yeah, and I don't think. And another thing is he's wearing a brass Delta shield here around his waist, like holding the thing closed.
So are these uniforms that never quite made the cut or something?
I don't know if this uniform was ever shown in the movie, or McCoy's one he's wearing in this picture here.
Boy, the motion picture certainly had a lot of different variants that they just used or didn't use. There's just a lot of different styles of it.
Well, I guess because they were going through that transition where they wanted to do a TV show and then they decided to do a movie, they had to get rid of things, I guess, they weren't going to put in the movie, And so I guess maybe that's why they got lost, is, they weren't using it, So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of different things here. I like how they took the captain's chair and put it right up on the upper deck. It's like, oh, so it ain't even attached to the floor. This thing, you could just pick it up and move it anywhere on the bridge. It's sort of like
it's some kind of magic chair you can just pick up and just move to another part or whatever.
It's like in the Gold Key comics, whenever they showed the captain, he was always sitting somewhere different on the bridge, like far to the left or all the way to the right, or right behind the.
It's a Mary Poppins chair that just slides up the railing. Parts of the bridge, like, I'm going to cruise around the bridge in this part.
Yeah, I'm going to put my chair here today. I'm going to sit right behind you. So,
like a pneumatic chair that just kind of floats around on a little tram. There's that thing with you can put the thing in, the tube or whatever.
Yeah, and they used
it carried over into the second movie, too.
Yeah. I don't understand the helmet thing here the guy's wearing.
Trooper?
Yeah, on the front here, he's got a helmet on.
Yeah, again, I get that Space 1999 / Stormtrooper vibe.
I mean, if there's something that is dangerous and he has to wear a helmet, wouldn't everybody have to?
In Wrath of Khan had to go into this room with a lot of radiation. Maybe that's what that's for, like a radiation-heavy area.
Yeah, but he's not in there, though. It's the thing. He's standing out here in the open, and everybody else isn't wearing it. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, hello.
Maybe he's a stormtrooper. Star Wars, go over here, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, so
I like this because, it looks like it's sort of an emergency kind of setup. Like these uniforms are made for something hazardous to happen, and they're already set up to take, a situation. And
yeah, they have a hazmat suit kind of look at them, don't they?
Yeah, and he's got his Delta emblem on his arm here.
I never noticed that until right just now, that he had the Delta symbol on the upper part of the arm. Yeah,
and the front, it looks like there's these two belt couplings here for something, and the upper arm looks like it has some kind of a control panel look to it. It has like buttons on one side and something on the other. I don't know what that is.
Everybody has these puffy things all over their arms, like these big things that go everywhere on this movie. It's interesting.
Yeah, like right in the right.
These unique outfits that just had all these different features.
I think it's probably because these people are crawling around on the floor or something like that when they got to fix things. So they got like these pads around the elbow and maybe on the upper leg or something like that, so they don't get hurt doing their job. maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. I mean, but everything has sort of like a purpose. It looks like it's purposeful, this outfit here, which I liked it because it does look like an engineer's uniform. I mean, it looks like something they would wear in the future if they were working in something hazardous, so, which is something they didn't really show in TOS. Everybody just wore regular uniforms, but
right, they didn't show any. Well, if you saw anybody in engineering not wearing a uniform, they're wearing one of those smocky robes.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go with Star Trek II.
Yes, we've had a lot of discussions about these uniforms, and I wanted to mention them because these particular uniforms I noticed among all the fandom, and you've talked about it in your personal situation, it seems like people just obsess on these.
Yeah, that's everybody's favorite.
Everybody really wants to push. If you see people at fan clubs, they always have these outfits, and they were used a lot. Whenever you see a past ship in Star Trek: The Next Generation, they're wearing some variant of these things. They wore them for 7 3/4 of a movie.
Yeah.
And yesterday's Enterprise even had a variant of this. So this outfit just stuck around, and I gotta be honest, I guess the operative word is I prefer the motion picture outfits. But I'll let you elaborate a little more on that one.
Well, for one thing, they had to budget money to make all new uniforms for this movie. Okay. And the reason being is because Nicholas Meyer was directing it, and he darkened all the sets. Now, when you darken the sets, the uniforms from the motion picture no longer really match with the environment. They don't stick with it. So, because he liked to have that military, grim kind of feel to it, the uniforms had to match that aesthetic. So he instead of getting even bright red, he picked maroon, which I hate that color because it just seems depressing, and everybody was wearing red. Maroon rather. And the only thing was the color of their collar, their undershirt was either blue or yellow or white, which they wore underneath. And then they had this big bulky belt that went around the waist that looked leathery. I mean, it's like there was no purpose for it.
Which Khan just happened to have on SETI Alpha 5.
Yeah.
He just magically happened to have one of them.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen them in 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. And, and of course on the sleeves here, you got all these buttons that denotes the years in service. And it has a duplicate rank pin that they also wear on the shoulder, which is, I don't understand why they got to have one on the sleeve, but apparently they needed 2 rank pins to let people know what their rank is. And so they have that. And then on the back, they have a pin there to hold the strap on.
Oh, the pins. Oh, wow.
Yeah, lots and lots of pins. So if you're going to make this uniform, you're looking at least $350 to $400 just to make this look right.
Like I said, you've been there and done that. Well, you didn't do it, but you've been there and dealt with that in your own.
Yeah, I mean, and now, when I live in a place where you could, usually get a bargain, and the best bargain I could get was $250, and that's just for the coat. That's not including the pants and everything else. And I just said, look, I'm a Star Trek fan, but I'm not going to throw good money after bad to make something like this.
Right.
I'm going to wear it at a convention once in my lifetime.
And a lot of Star Trek fan channels, they're really into this outfit. This is like the outfit they were really into.
Yeah.
Maybe because it looks the most regal somehow. But to me, that's the issue I have with it. It doesn't really fit with the whole spirit of Star Trek at all. The other outfits are very casual and much more, I don't know, earthy or glamorous or whatever, like the motion picture ones. These ones seem like they're very close to contemporary military wear.
Yeah, it looks militaristic. It doesn't denote any scientific endeavoring at all. I mean, these uniforms, you wouldn't even think these people would be in any science at all. They're just out there.
It looks especially weird on Bones since he's a doctor.
Yeah, he's a doctor, and yet he looks like, like your average, guy on the bridge. He don't even have a distinction. I mean, at least in the motion picture, they gave him something that was different than the others. I mean, it was all white.
I just realized the double negative here. They have these big insignias with the Delta symbol and this big thing on the back of it.
Yeah.
And then they have another Delta symbol on their belt.
That's right.
So they've got all this extra stuff, and then the 1001 buttons to show the ranks. It's over decorated. It's
dressy, too dressy for a uniform.
I guess would be the word for it.
Yeah, definitely it looks too dressy for a duty
Like you said,
uniform.
look, it's a dress uniform. Now, these are the kind of, I would say, would they be the ensign kind of looks for that time?
Well, they call them crewmen, so I guess those would be people that weren't officers on the ship would
Yep.
wear these.
These are, to be honest, okay, by the way, on those last ones, I would say a dislike. That's just me on the last
Oh,
one.
yeah, I don't.
With these, I like them a little bit better. And the reason why I like them a little bit better is because they're more, to be honest, they're much closer to the next generation outfits.
Yeah.
Again, there's one too many Delta symbols, but these are more uniform-like and less militaristic.
Well, these look closer to the motion picture because again,
exactly.
they got the shoulder pins again. They also have that soul line that goes down towards the
right. It's sort of similar to that era.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have preferred if this had been closer to the uniform they ended up using.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I would have gotten rid of this extra. Black.
I mean, I think it's a little bit better than the one thing they use because it doesn't have all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'd eliminated the collar too. I would have got rid of that.
That collar, yeah, but the basic cut of it and the fact there's not pins everywhere and it's a little more reasonable. Yeah. I just prefer this look. I would have made it a brighter red too. You're right, the brighter red.
Yeah, brighter red would have looked nice.
But like the way the collar is.
Yeah.
At the color of that collar. But then again, wouldn't that be TNG pretty much when I think about it? Get rid of that collar.
But it wouldn't have had so much black in it though. That's the thing, you know.
But yeah, I would have preferred if it was just closer to this. This is a better look.
Yeah. There's way less pins on it. You only got one pin here. This is the rank pin. This is the chief petty officer, I guess. And they got this strap here, which I think this means cadet. This red and white means cadet. So this would be like a cadet uniform, but they would still wear it if they were a crewman, so they would still wear this style anyway. And they have a name pin here, I guess. It's on the other side of the Delta shield that's sitting here. And I think their name is on that. So yeah, I guess I'd get rid of that, the name pin. But yeah, I mean, mostly this is
better.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, yeah, they got the blouse boot thing going again here, like they had with TOS. But it's not as bad because it looks like it's not just cut. It looks.
Yeah, it's not high waters as much. It's more like a lower cut.
Yeah, it looks actually tucked into the boot, it's a lot better. And plus, they got this pocket on the side here, what I like. Like a place to put a tricorder or or something. So, yeah, it looks more utilitarian. I like that style better, than the big coats and all that they had. So yeah, I do like this one.
More Star Trek-y.
Yeah, I do like this one. It looks a lot more.
Just ironing out a few little kinks and should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's futuristic looking. Now this one here is like it's like that coat. Remember I was telling you about the kind of the jacket thing they were wearing? Like I think Kirk wore it a little bit and Scotty wore it. And I like this one too. You don't have no belt, okay? It has just this one Delta shield and it's got the shoulder.
Right, the one Delta shield is better.
Yeah, from the motion picture. Has a different undershirt that looks sort of like the cage a little bit, the undershirt. It has a stripe down the leg, which is kind of neat because each one is a different color,
for more Star Trek-y.
Yeah. And it has a thing around the wrist. I think that's just for department. So yeah, this is a lot. This is what they should have went with Star Trek 2 instead of that, that over the side strap thing and all the buttons. And I mean, this looks
right,
more
that thing that flipped open, all that stuff.
Yeah, this is a duty uniform right here. This is what they should have worn, And like you said, maybe a brighter color of red than the maroon color. But yeah, this is better one, I think. So
yeah, that's the better mixture of the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I prefer. Is that casual thing again?
This is the variant jacket. This is a different the one that we see Scotty wear in Star Trek 3. It has this strap from the shoulder. Again, they have all these pins for the years in service. And then they have this.
Get to the pins with that one a little bit.
Yeah. This one has just a buckle on the jacket instead of the belt. It has a buckle, which I liked. I like the buttons here.
Yeah, that's a middle ground sort of.
Yeah, it's not as dressy, but I like it because it's actually made out of a different fabric than the other uniforms. So yeah, I like this one. This would be too bad to wear. I just don't like the idea of all these pins on the sleeve here like that.
That's cumbersome. Yeah.
Yeah, take that off. That'd be fine. I'd wear that. And you see Kirk was wearing it in Star Trek V, but that's the same one that Scotty was wearing in Star Trek 3. And so this is what he was wearing. So, because remember, Scotty was a captain. So this would be like maybe the captain's jacket or something like that. So Scotty got to wear one of these too, because he got promoted to captain. So, and you see here's Scotty wearing it here. This is his uniform. See, it has just this one shoulder strap here, and the Delta shield, and
yeah, it's kind of almost I was gonna say velour or suede. It's kind of a different material.
Yeah, suede. I think you're right. Suede is what it is. It looks nice. I mean, I like the fabric. You know, it just looks casual. It looks comfortable. You know, and
yeah, it's not as overdone and dressy as that other one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the other one is just, yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like I said, this one's got comfortable sleeves on it. It's like what you'd see on a spring jacket or a fall jacket or something, you know, like that. They'll expand, you know, it's kind of an elastic sleeve, so it's very comfortable. And I like the buckle here on the bottom. So yeah, I mean, this is a nice outfit that they all could have worn or something like that. Would have been better.
Yeah, okay, so here we are, the pins.
Yeah, the pins.
And there's a lot of them. Because you got these things, you got those little things on the bottom and all this, and there's other rank denotions instead of stripes. So it's again, it all feels like dressy, like a dress. You said a dress uniform is how it felt to you. That's
well. Here's the thing: pins are nice, but these are rank pins, and the only way you're going to tell what rank a person is if you get up close, because these pins are not very big. Now, the ones that you can see at a distance are your captain pins and the lieutenant version pins, okay? But as far as lieutenant commander goes, I mean, you'd have to get really close to see the difference between the two, because all there is an extra bar here in the middle to separate lieutenant commander to commander, okay? I don't like that. I mean, because, you know, ranks today, I mean, you like to have the eagle and, you know, the gold leaf and stuff. I mean, you can tell those are different ranks just by the color and the shape. But with these, they're too close together. I don't like that. And the admirals, you got vice admiral and rear admiral. They look the same. It looks like, all except the only difference is this little piece of metal in the middle here separates the vice.
Really close, you wouldn't be able to tell the admiral from
exactly. That's too subtle a difference. I mean, military doesn't go with subtle. They go with what, you know, bigger, you know, so you could tell, like when you look at the sleeve, when you see a rank, you can tell the difference is because the straps are farther apart. There's another line in the center. You can tell it, you know, but this is too close. These are too close together. Like the admiral and the fleet admiral looks way too similar. And then you look at these lower ranks here, the petty officer. I mean, these look a little bit different. These actually can kind of stand out. You can tell the difference between, you know, a senior CPO and a CPO, because they got this gold bar down the middle of this thing with this top piece, you know, so you could see that. But as far as most of the ranks are just way too similar. I mean, like I said, you can't really see it unless you get up close, and, you know, you got to know, you know, what they are, I guess. I can't understand why they would change their rank structure so radically, you know, like that, where they would go from the naval look to this whole new conjured up thing, you know, that, you know, they never had before.
Yeah, going from stripes to all these little pin things.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different on Star Trek.
To me, it's very Napoleonic and very kind of imperial.
Yeah.
Not far removed from the Mirror Universe and how they do things.
Exactly.
Very imperial. Not as straight Navy as you would get on TOS or anything.
You know, it's sort of like what they remember when Star Wars, you have all these different ranks and stuff like that. But I think they were trying to copy that a little bit by trying to come up with a whole new way of designating rank by reinventing all the symbols, like, you know, like what they had to do with Star Wars.
You know, it's coming back. Star Wars, go over here a little bit. I know you're trying to come back.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to copy that a little bit. You know, that say like, oh, well, we got all new rank pins too now, so we're, you know, you got to learn it all over again, basically. And,
yeah, it's again too dressy and too much. So
yeah, exactly.
I remember. So this is
This is
Yes,
Savic's
that was
uniform,
casual kind of wave mission.
and it's the only time we ever see this. Is it's a leather uh, vest underneath the coat that she was wearing when she beamed down to Genesis. She was wearing this, and I think she was the only one that actually had this leather outfit, which is nice. I kind of like it, the leather. And it doesn't have many pins on it. It's just got the Delta shield.
I wanted to ask you a question. The coloring on that particular shade of maroon is very close to the Vulcan ships in Enterprise. Do you
Yeah,
think
you're right. You're
is
very
this
right.
kind of a Vulcan kind of thing?
It may be. I don't know. I mean, it's the first time, like I said, we get to see this because we have to assume that they had it in Star Trek 2, but she's the only one we ever see. She takes her coat off and she's wearing this under it with the white turtleneck. It looks like there's pockets here on the side. I don't know if it's pockets or it's just fancy sew lines. I don't know. She's got the traditional pants, and it has. I think this is a zipper on the front here that goes down, so it's sort of like a leather coat with just a vest-looking thing of it.
Yeah, so it all kind of comes apart, and there's like a turtleneck underneath, like a white turtleneck underneath it.
Yeah, and they kind of copied this kind of vest thing when they did the Star Trek Next Gen movies. Remember if you remember how Picard sort of had that in First Contact, a vest underneath his jacket.
Right, yeah, they kind of went with that look later.
Yeah, so I kind of like this. This is a nice. And remember when we was talking about the mirror universe, how Kirk had that gold vest. So this kind of looks like maybe it could be like a mirror universe kind of thing, and she has this shirt underneath it. Which,
yeah, that's why I wondered if it was a Vulcan kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily take this and make it look like a mirror universe uniform by just putting some gold on it.
Or put the Delta the
Dagger.
Empire symbol on it.
Yeah, the dagger over in Earth. Yeah.
Right, and then all the buttons that go with that too, because there's a lot of buttons.
And then you could put like a gold dagger here on the side. I mean, you could really dress this thing up, and it would look
right.
Nice.
It looks like Lean and Mean. It has that kind of desert wear kind of look to it.
Yeah.
That's why I wondered if it was a Vulcan type thing, because it has that desert kind of look to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to find like a leather jacket like this or similar to this somewhere in stores. I mean, I know it's a lot if you find one, but I'd like to find something like that and try to make this, because I don't know, I just like the look of it. It's just, so I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's some places on eBay that make these kind of uniforms, and I know there are a lot, but maybe I might have to resort to going on there.
That's not a bad vest. I mean, that's a nice casual look, unless it's actual Federation regulation. Although, I don't know. Maybe Savick had her own little Vulcan stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. But it's a nice casual look.
Yep. And these are the Enterprise C.
Yes, the Enterprise C, Jack Crusher.
Yeah.
Stargazer-y variants.
Yeah. I like that they got rid of the belt.
I would say these are, will you say, like early 24th century?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, early 24th century.
I had a theory, and this is when the Enterprise B started, they were wearing the Wrath of Khan era outfit still. Do you think that somewhere in the Enterprise B's lifetime these things came along?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because they're a variant, a more casual variant, which I like a lot better of them.
Yeah, it looks less flashy. I wish they'd get rid of that black stripe that goes down the side, though. I mean,
yeah, that
would
thing that comes open is just
But if they take the black strap off of the side, that would make it look better. And I like that they don't put a pin on the sleeve here. And again, the pants are nice because they look actually tucked into the boot. So the neckline is the only problem with this thing, because without a collar underneath it, it looks like they just took scissors to it and just
Another question I have: didn't the Delta insignias on these, weren't they actually communicators by then?
Yeah, it looked like they were using them like communicators.
Now, at some points I've seen these. Didn't some of these outfits actually have flat out next generation communicators on them at certain points?
Yes, they did. I think I can't remember what episode it was, but they were. Maybe it was when Picard was fighting at Nausicaa. I think they had. I don't know if he was wearing the next gen pin or not, but There was an episode where they were wearing those at that time, and I can't.
I was gonna say it was Jack Crusher on the holodeck.
Okay, maybe it was Jack Crusher. I know it was.
He had his uniform on. I think he had the TNG insignia though.
That's right.
So, but here's the weird thing about that though. With the Stargazer, when Picard had that flashback to the Stargazer when the bridge was on fire, they're wearing the season 1 TNG uniforms.
That's right.
When you saw Jack Crusher, he was wearing one of these. So you say that transition happened during the Stargazer's era?
Yeah, maybe they were phasing it out. You know, this style, they were probably phasing it out. And, yeah.
So this would be like Enterprise C, maybe late Enterprise B era?
Yeah. This would probably be at the time that these uniforms were getting phased out, you know.
I would say early 24th century, early to mid 24th century.
Yeah, about mid to early, yeah, right around that time. So, yeah, this isn't too bad. I mean, again, that's, at least they got rid of a lot of the pins and stuff like that. So this one's okay. I mean, if they'd used this for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I wouldn't have had such a problem with it, you know. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, these pants, they really do harken back to TOS, you know, the black, because that's what they were wearing, black at the time. The top looks a little like the cage kind of away uniform with the you know, the fold over. So if they got rid of this black stripe down here, it would have probably looked better. So it looks just a solid color all the way down. Putting a collar here wouldn't have hurt. So, yeah, but that's that one. And then boom, here we go. We jump. We jump into the 24th century here.
The look of my particular era of Star Trek when I started really getting into it from the get-go. I was not born when TOS premiered, so, but I was with this one. Now, you know, again, we can overuse this term. This is the detector circuit look, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
So okay, these are the TNG uniforms, the jumpsuits.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people hate just the jumpsuit design of them because they're a bit uncomfortable looking. But generally speaking, the basic look of the outfit, never mind the jumpsuit fit, but the basic look of the uniform, I basically like with the open collar and the kind of the colored line around it. I don't mind that look too much. The whole vibe of it to me harkens back to TOS and the motion picture a little bit.
Yeah.
Except the jumpsuit, okay, we can do without that. Now, I suppose we should mention this because we've talked about this before. In the pilot, Counselor Troy had a scant.
That's right.
Scant. Then in the rest of season 1 and for the next 4 or 5 seasons, she was in these varying kind of civilian outfits, even though she held a rank.
Yeah, like this one here, she's wearing this black thing with a, you know, I don't know what it's not in a uniform that I can tell. I mean, it looks like
it's a jumpsuit. It's a casual jumpsuit.
Yeah. And I never liked this hairstyle she had here with this. It just pulling her hair back so tight, it looked like they were ripping the skin off her face. I mean, I just
it's like a hark back into Yeoman Rand, kind of the bun.
Yeah, but it didn't look like it was pulled back so tight, even when they had the beehive hairdo back then. This is like they just took her hair and just pulled it right back to a knot, you know.
Yeah, I know Rita Sirtis hated that look.
Yeah, and they stuck all these little trinkets in her hair, like, you know, and it's like, you know, what is this, you know?
And all that.
Yeah, and then look at Crusher. She's got the 80s look, you know, the big hair thing, you know, and it looks like it hasn't been brushed in a year. You know?
Yeah, well, this is like one of the early TNG shots from Farpoint.
This is like the promotional picture they were.
Right,
like,
and you know, back in the Klingon Officer Worf days, if you remember that reference.
Yeah.
They gave Worf a TOS Klingon sash.
Actually Core had used in the first season. They gave
Michael and Sarah.
Yeah, he had that.
So they just took that off the Core outfit and gave it to Worf. Yeah,
because they still had it floating around in the studios, and I guess instead of making one, they saved money and they just took and gave him that one to wear for a while.
And of course, Will Wheaton was wearing one of the many variations of the sweaters they kept putting him in the first year, which resulted in some pretty lousy results, but they just kept putting him in these baggy sweaters. So
Yeah, he don't look too happy even in this picture here. He looks like,
like, get me out
why
of this.
am
It probably itches like you wouldn't believe. I mean, because it's definitely that what they call Cosby sweater kind of look. It's just like for some reason teenagers wear sweaters in the future. I don't know, but
yeah.
basically with the uniforms, I basically like them. They're a, I don't know if they were going to do this. It would have been pretty stupid if they were wearing those movie era uniforms still at this point.
Yeah, that wouldn't have went with the sets here wearing that. But the reason why a lot of people, at least the reason why the studio liked this uniform best is because when they wore it, there was very few wrinkles on the uniform. It looked like it was painted on them, and it made it look good in the camera. Unfortunately for the actors, because the uniforms were so tight, it was pulling their shoulders down all the time, and it was trying to slide. The front of the uniforms in the back were constantly pulling down because their legs are in it, they're walking in it, and when they sit down, especially when they sat down, it was like it was trying to rip away from their bodies, and they didn't like that.
Yeah, it was like a skin tight jumpsuit.
Yeah, it might have looked good on camera, but it didn't feel good to wear it.
Now there was a variant of this style that was a little different later, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, they made it a two-piece.
Right, and I believe the two-piece had a line down front.
That's right.
That was one they used in season 3 a little bit with some of the little people.
Yeah, yeah, they did that, and then they changed it a little bit later. They put like an elastic band around on the top, on the bottom. You could see where they pull it because before it didn't have that. But they changed it by adding that elastic waistband on the top part of the uniform, so that way it hugged around the waist instead of just slid up and down. Because when you raise your arms in something like that, the whole uniform will just slide right up. And in order to stop that, they had to put this waistband around the bottom of the top piece, so that way it tightly wrapped around a little bit to stop that. So it was very tricky to wear this uniform, and that's where they come up with the Picard maneuver. Here's the scant.
There's the male scant. Yes. Okay. Now here's the thing: if they had done that with TOS and had men wear scants, I guess I wouldn't notice it so much if the men are that revealing. But by the Next Generation, it just seemed very awkward.
The way they could have improved this was to shorten it and put pants on, and they could have had the short sleeves. That would have looked fine.
Yeah, I noticed this is obviously off an old TV, so it looks purple.
Yeah, this picture is not good quality, but.
And I remember when I had it off VHS, all the outfits looked purple in that too. It just the way the color was in the old days.
Yeah, which is going to bring me up to later on. I'm going to show you something that had a problem with. So yeah, I didn't like this scant. It didn't look good on a woman. It didn't look good on a guy. It just looked like a cheerleader's outfit.
Yeah, that was a cheerleader kind of. Maybe it would have been a good Academy outfit, but.
Yeah, I'm glad they dropped it. I'm just glad they got rid of it.
So here we go with
This is the duty coverall on over here.
Yeah, Laura had that for a while, and then that was it looked kind of like the TOS thing with the.
Yeah, it's something that just keeps coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, that same pleated look keeps coming back.
The coveralls, they just keep coming back, no matter what generation you're in.
Yeah, they keep. I mean, and even now in this Discovery thing, they get those coveralls back a little bit, so that they're kind of still doing that. So
yeah, I know. It's like why?
Like Star Trek is all about coveralls. It's not about starships. It's not about Klingons. It's about coveralls. It's about people wearing coveralls in the show.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Never mind canon. It's all coveralls now. We're just wear coveralls in the whole show, and that'll be it.
Yeah. And that dress uniform, that was the most hideous dress uniform I've ever seen.
The thing about that dress uniform is it's very literal.
Yeah.
It's literally a friggin' dress.
Yeah, and it's got that long gold strap that goes all the way down to the bottom, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. And it just
for a dress, it's kind of ugly.
Yeah, and it wraps around the neck, and it doesn't look like it's very comfortable around the neck at all.
It's just, I don't know. It looks like a muumuu.
Well, it looks like they're trying to copy the Wrath of Khan kind of style a little bit.
Yeah, except it doesn't have the pins and all that stuff. It just has this long muumuu-like thing on the bottom.
Yeah. So this was too long. to make it a dress uniform, you got to have some ribbons underneath the Delta shield here, to make it look dressy.
Yeah. What they should have done is just kind of kept the top, get rid of that thing that looks like it opens up, add some more filigree and stuff on the top, and get rid of that long moo thing. It just
shorten that gold strap down just to the waist, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a little overblown, So
it looked like it was like a last minute kind of idea.
But they used that most of TNG, if I remember.
Yeah, well, the first or maybe the second season too, they used it. I don't know.
They used it, I believe, in season 6 and 7 too.
They did. I thought they changed it. They made it shorter later on.
Okay, well, maybe they did. I just remember wearing that long dressy thing.
Yeah, it was sort of like that, and they changed the look of it a little bit by shortening it, and they put pins, the rank pins in this, and you don't see rank pins on Picard's.
I guess I don't know. I remember Worf was trying one on, and he was remarking how it looked like a dress. And his was shorter. I mean, because I remember that was like season 3 or 4. 7.
Yeah, and he was trying it on, so they shortened it.
So season 2, okay, so we've got the same basic uniforms, Troy's in another one of her random outfits. Worf's got a different sash this year. It's a sash he basically stayed with the rest of the series. It kind of
looks like it's made out of metal.
Right, the Klingons. I think I told you the story when the Klingon, I think it was CAG, the club used to belong to, came into Ground Round during the 91 convention. You could hear all the ding, ding, ding of the metal clinking on them, and they were really like, "Oh, what is this Harley Davidson biker gang coming in?" And they said, "Oh, it's just Klingons."
Yeah.
Give them a plate of gach,
Yeah.
It was just fun. Now, again, we got this weird... Now, the Wesley thing, we could do a whole thing on just Wesley's uniform, the show, but this uniform, I don't even know what that is. It's all gray, and the insignia is all silver.
Yeah, one color, yeah.
It has absolutely no color to it at all. I never saw it in any other character. I don't know why they slapped it in that thing.
Yeah.
It's like Troy. It's like, why does he have to have that gray thing on for like a year and a half?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even part of the uniforms that they had, because the cadet uniform didn't look anything like that.
No, that cadet uniform looked more like the Voyager DS9 era.
Exactly. So this looked like something they just fabricated, and we
didn't even discuss that sweater with all the colored things on it.
Yeah. That didn't even make any sense more than this does.
We can do that in Wesley's outfits eventually, but so that's to me. This is a reuse of season 1, basically the same look, except Geordi got the gold, obviously, and we have Pulaski, and didn't she wear kind of a sort of a medical smocky thing?
Yeah, hers wasn't. It was a 2-piece, but had a long top on it.
It wasn't a cheerleader outfit.
No.
I can't imagine Diane Mulder in a cheerleader outfit like that. It wouldn't have worked with her style, Yeah.
And I liked it.
More professional looking.
Yeah, I liked it. It like you said, it made her look more professional looking.
Which is why I'm wondering, why didn't they give that same outfit to Troy?
Well, she's in the medical division. She should have had a blue uniform like Pulaski.
Why didn't they give her like Pulaski's outfit? Because it's much better for her. It's not that purple thing they kept putting her in for like...
Yeah. I think with them was they were always trying to make her makeup match whatever uniform she was wearing at the time, or whatever outfit she was wearing.
That way she wore that blue topless thing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for a while she had that, but I think because of the eye makeup they gave her, and because if you look at it, the makeup was sort of like all variations of dark tones or something like that, and even her hair. I think they even actually add black dye on her hair because it's darker than it was in the previous season, and everything was darkened just to match the makeup that they did on her at that time.
They give her that dark black collar and that kind of...
I mean, they were really trying to sell her as the sex appeal of the show.
Yet they dress her like a big eggplant.
Yeah.
I don't get why she looked like a vegetable. She had that eggplant outfit on, and eggplant isn't really a sexy color purple is, but she's like an eggplant.
Yeah.
I don't see why she couldn't have worn just a regular outfit like Pulaski had, like that kind of professional-looking skirt.
Sturgis wanted a uniform from the get-go, and they never gave it to her. And
they gave her that cheerleader outfit in the beginning that didn't work, and then they gave her that bun and that black thing, and then this eggplanty thing, and they kept messing with her clothes. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, Pulaski
So,
got the right outfit right off the bat, so that's weird.
yeah,
That's
at least.
season 2. So. Oh, by the way, have I been doing it wrong? Because I wanted to say like or dislike. I don't like the Wesley uniform. I like Pulaski's, Troy's. I think you know what I think about that.
Oh, yeah.
We're in season 3 now. Best of both worlds.
Yeah. And
Okay, so now we're in the 2-piece.
Yep. This, except for Crusher and what's her name, the commander here.
Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby. These are the girls are wearing jumpsuits, and Data's wearing the 2-piece, and you could tell by the fold here on the side how that's going to the waistband that they attached it to. You know.
Do you have any pictures of anybody in season 2? Because in season 3, some of the people still had that open necked thing, and they had the colored lines around it, but were 2 pieces, and they had a line in front.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen them. They were used only in season 3.
Okay. So yeah,
these are the uniforms used season 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, basically.
Yeah, sort of like that. I mean, that was pretty much what they used for the rest of the show. And once in a while, in the background, you'd see an extra wearing a season 1, and I think
we saw that a lot in season 3. And again, it would be that variant you talked about where it was 2 pieces and it would have a line down the middle.
That's right.
You would see that.
And I think what it was is they were just borrowing somebody's old uniform or something like that just for the background, because they weren't going to waste money just making a whole new outfit for an extra. They just grabbed what was on the rack and just, okay, wear this. And
if you watch Generations, they start out wearing a mixture of these and the Voyager DS9 uniforms.
Yeah.
So there's a transition you can see happening there.
That's right. And I never understood why they had to make a whole different style for Deep Space Nine, but that's, I don't know. So
okay, so here's Picard's jacket.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of goes back to the Kirk thing, and that one we saw for the for the Star Trek 2 had similar looks.
That's right.
It's a turtlenecky variant, but but then when you take it off, it looks like Wesley season 2 uniform a little bit.
It does, doesn't it?
Only a little bit more stylish and has that black, so it doesn't have that all gray look to it.
Yeah, and it's not tight. It's like kind of loose a little bit, so it's.
And he doesn't have that stupid silver communicator. I don't get so.
No.
So it just looks more like a casual outfit, basically. This was I believe this was first seen in Darmok.
Yeah, and it was really different because, I mean, like this coat was suede, and it had a leather where the shoulders are. It's made of leather. And I was like, oh, cool. Let's, because it really caught my eye when I saw it. It's like, well, that really looks nice. I mean, that looked better than what he was wearing the rest of the time, which, I thought this was a lot better looking. I like the style of it. And it seemed to suit him better, because he's sort of a guy that's a little bit, not so official sort of kind of thing. He's sort of an intellectual. And
yeah, it has a professor vibe,
Yeah, it does.
Like you're in Cambridge and you change into your little sweater and everything. It's just
it has a more feel for like somebody like an intellectual,
like a teacher or a professor. It has that. It suits Picard. You can kind of see him reading a book wearing that.
Yeah.
It has that. Sitting there with Earl Grey in a book and that Picard vibe. Just
yeah.
That's what you can see in kind of his lounging outfit. It's. I'm the smart person on the ship that wears the smart Professor Picard thing.
And by this time when they gave him this uniform, his character was starting to lighten up a little bit and not be so crass. Yeah,
and that kind of went with that kind of more casual look.
Yeah, so I think that's what they were doing. They were trying to soften him a little bit by this time, and this outfit kind of helped with that to give him a little less of a a stern, because he was stern a lot in the show. And this time they were going to soften him up a little bit to make him a little more likable. So yeah, but it was a nice uniform. I liked it. So. And this is the 2 Admiral uniforms here. I mean, they had a lot of different Admiral uniforms, if I remember right.
Yeah. Season 1. Didn't they kind of have a season 1 version? Where it's not that black one in the first one. It kind of was it kind of, I'm trying to think of the word for it. It had more gold stuff on the top.
Yeah, I think was it I can't remember his name, but yeah, his uniform it's not pictured here, but yeah, he had a way more stuff on it.
Yeah, and it had a pullover too.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of like the dress uniform. I believe the episode we're thinking about here is too short to see. Admiral Jameson.
Yeah, okay.
The guy who was reverse aging, and he had that pullover. It was sort of like the dress uniform, only shorter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was like it had that pullover look.
Yep.
Which, I wanted to mention something about the uniforms in Star Trek 2. That look with all the pins and stuff would have been fine for an admiral.
Exactly.
But not everybody. That would have been like an admiral's outfit, but I wouldn't put that on everybody on the ship.
Yeah, because it's hard to distinguish. I mean, if they all look like dress uniforms, then how do you separate that from a duty uniform? You don't wear dress uniforms on duty,
Right. I mean, you wouldn't see them wearing those long ones you just showed me on the bridge of the Enterprise. Would be kind of cumbersome.
Yeah, I mean, because in Star Trek 6, when they had that big meeting at the table and they had all these admirals there, the only way they could separate the admirals from the captains and all that was they added all these ribbons.
Right, and sometimes more pins. So
yeah, so they had to put more pins on it to make it look,
decoration upon layering. I mean, the uniforms didn't fall forward and go.
And I thought it just looked way silly upon silly when I saw that. I was like, come on. I mean, it's like, this coat must weigh a ton.
It was literally overdressed. I mean, that would be the literal definition of being an overdressed character.
That's right. So, yeah, I like I said, I always had a problem with that. But
these admiral uniforms, I really didn't have any problem with. I mean, I prefer, they would have been good dress uniform variants, but I never minded them. They looked a little more officious, but they went with the era.
Yeah.
So it would be a like on both of them. Even that one Admiral Jameson had.
Yeah. These, I don't know if you would qualify these as dress uniforms. I think these would be your typical duty uniforms for an admiral.
Right, that's what they are. But I mean, they would look good as dress uniforms too.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the pins.
So like I said, the pins are not quite as much.
These ones at the top, they kind of shoehorn them into this picture here. These actually go to the Wrath of Khan uniforms, like these ribbons here. What you saw the admirals wear in
the Enterprise C era, somewhat.
Yeah, like these on the top are for the admirals in the Wrath of Khan, and these pins here on the side. These are the years in service pins that you see on the sleeves of the coats and stuff. And this is the name tag here, and so I don't know why they connected it to this picture, but that's where that belongs, but they put it in here.
The communicators, there were several variants, and in the middle two were very speculative. We have the first one, which is the Delta symbol with the little gold circle, which we all know from most of Next Generation and early Deep Space Nine. Then we have what I call the Future Imperfect / alternate reality Worf communicator with all the little bars in them, which I actually like.
Yeah.
I actually rather like that one. It eliminated the rank pips.
Yeah.
Then you have that All Good Things communicator, which became another future communicator somehow.
And they keep using it all the time. Whenever they
go, began to become used a lot.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, I kind of like the look of it. It has, it's not solid. It sort of has the Delta shield, but just in a stripe, kind of silver stripe over 2 gold bars. I mean, it's kind of nice, but they, like you said, they keep using it. Every time they go in the future, it's always the same symbol, like even in Voyager, when they went in that last episode, old Janeway was wearing.
Right, but they all had the All Good Things stuff on.
Exactly. They were wearing that again.
Apparently the future's going to be that outfit and that stuff. So
yeah, apparently they're shooting for that. So
anyway, the next one is the Generation / season 3 through 7 of Deep Space Nine / Voyager / the rest of the Next Gen movies, pretty much.
Basically, that was the pin they carried on for the rest of the time. So. And
by the way, I wanted to point out the Playmates made a giant, huge variant of the original TNG communicator and that Generations one, which were enormously oversized. And I believe one of them was featured in a Voyager episode called Live Fast and Prosper. So
yeah.
Okay, the rank pips, the ones over on the other side are the admirals with the black background, right?
Yep, those are all admiral pins. Yeah.
And then the other ones are just the rank pips that are worn by regular personnel. And that
and these on the end, on the other side, are the Maquis ones.
we talk about that, and you said that when the Voyager, the Maquis crew joined the Voyager crew, you noticed B'Elanna, and a lot of them still have the Maquis pips, and you didn't get that.
They call these provisional officer rank pins. I don't know. I mean, that's what they call them. But to me, I never liked the idea that they separated, the Maquis and the Voyager crew by these pins. I mean, it's just like, well, you want them to be a unified crew, but then at the same time, they're walking around branded with the pins that not everybody else is wearing. So it kind of always left in your mind that they're not.
Maybe it was like a subtle shade throwing, like, just remember you used to be Maquis, so this is your little reminder.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was weird. But that little black grayish thing with all the little inverted lines, O'Brien wore that, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. I think he did. Yeah.
And I've been asking what that is. Is that like an enlisted thing or?
It says Chief of Operations emblem. That's the emblem.
Because O'Brien on Deep Space Nine, he had a very different rank. He was Chief of Operations.
Yeah. First, he started off as an officer, and then they backed him on down to just an enlisted person. So I was like, "Whoa!" So you got a demotion.
Yeah, so these are Deep Space Nine / Next Generation / Voyager ranks.
Yeah. So you could see. I mean, they had far fewer things to wear on their uniforms.
Right, just like a badge and rank pips, rather than all these pins for everything.
Yeah, that's why I say in if they do a future series, it should be even less. Should be less.
Voyager. Okay, so these are the Deep Space Nine Next Generations Voyager outfits, and I think this is the one time. Wasn't Voyager the one time they had the same uniform the whole series?
Yeah, they did for a while.
Deep Space Nine added those actually had 3 separate uniforms.
Yes.
They had the same uniform for the first 5 years, but they had the next gen communicator on it the first 2 years.
That's right.
Then they added these Voyager ones, but Voyager had the same look the whole series, which was
I didn't mind these. These were nice.
I didn't like those stuff at all. I give those a definite like.
I got a uniform. I have one of these uniforms still, and it fits nice. I mean, because it's 2-piece, and it zips up, and you have you wear, like, you can wear either a dinky underneath it or you can wear a turtleneck under it. It depends on how you want to wear it, and it feels more comfortable. It isn't so tight, and I like it. It's better. I mean, they did wear it in Generations, I think, and I think they went with that style because they darkened everything in Generations on the Enterprise D, and so these uniforms kind of fit with that darkened tone.
Mostly black and just the colored top.
Yeah, exactly.
So those are one of my favorite outfits, and I noticed both of them have the Maquis pip still.
Yep, they do. Yeah.
Even though Chakotay was a Starfleet officer officially, B'Elanna Torres here wasn't. They still have the Maquis pips on for some reason.
Yeah, they made them wear those, so I don't know.
I can see it mostly on Chakotay, but I can see it on B'Elanna when like close enough to that they're still wearing the Maquis pips. So.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I said, these are nice. I like these uniforms.
Yeah, these are actually my favorite post Next Generation uniforms. So I'm gonna give these like for me. Yeah.
And this here is the uniforms they went to in Deep Space Nine later with the.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. What they did is they kind of, this is weird. What they did with this is they kind of made them a weird one-piece thing, and they made them really kind of weird and baggy. They gave the top this weird, heavy, bulky gray feel to it, and they made the collar kind of like in the Star Trek II outfits, the main source of the color.
Yes.
And this is when the Enterprise E came along in Deep Space Nine, when they really started darkening things up.
Yes.
So again, this would be like a dislike because it just robbed the whole color. It just was very generic. It was hard to tell who was who. you had to take the jacket off or whatever, or the uniform really off to see what was underneath it, because the whole color was underneath it. It was a total colored turtleneck or whatever rank you had.
And on top of that, they also wore a vest under this thing too.
Right, they had the vest you mentioned with Picard.
So it mirrored a lot, like you said, to the Star Trek II kind of, style where they had layers under this thing. They have they actually had a two-piece version of this, which I had for a while.
Yeah.
This is the jumpsuit version, but there was a two-piece version, and when you unzip the top, you had the vest under it, and then you could unzip the vest, and you had the shirt under that, and then they had
uniforms aren't as pip-oriented. I mean, aren't as pin-oriented as Star Trek 2. But I hate to say this, but there's a vibe about this that reminds me of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, it's a darker. I don't know. It feels more militaristic somehow. Not as much as Star Trek 2, but it just feels more militaristic, and I don't know.
If they'd have taken that gray and kind of went down the front a little bit with it, that would have kind of lightened it up some. Like, let's say, like if they took like from the shoulders, instead of just going straight across, they could have come down like in the motion picture a little bit. Just bring the gray down and come to the waist with it like that along the sides.
Like a gray lining.
Yeah, give it a little extra gray on that.
Yeah, but kept the top. Well, they could have kept the top puffy, but kept it the color of the Voyager era.
Yeah, they could have done that. I mean, and and like make it two-piece, but have the top and the gray come down a little bit further like that, and have it zipped like they had it in the two-piece. They could have had a stripe that went down the side that was the same as the neck collar that could have had come down on the side.
Yeah, I would definitely change this. The look was way too. Ugh.
It was too dark. It was too.
Yeah, it was way too militaristic and too dark, and like I said, the sets were all dark in that era, and I don't know. He's kind of blended into the background. They didn't really, especially in these.
I did like the dress uniform for this though. The dress uniform was nice. I really liked that. The white. Remember?
Yeah, you know what that reminded me of? In a weird kind of way. I don't know why it always reminded me of like Casablanca. Like something Bowie would wear. It had that very 1940s band leader with all the gold trimmings. I always wanted to get one like that. I always liked that. You know what else it reminded me of now that I think about it? Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
I get a Mr. Rourke feel about it. Like, Picard's going to come into the room and say, "Smiles, everyone."
Yeah.
It has that, it's a white suit look, I do like that a lot, the dress uniform, like from Insurrection. You're right. I love that white with all the stuff on it.
I remember somebody whom I shall remain nameless had said that they look like waiter uniforms, the dress uniforms for this.
Oh dear. Yeah, I could see people thinking it looked like something that a maitre d' would wear.
Yeah.
Or like a steward.
Yeah. And maybe because of the front, how it kind of had it angled down at the front, maybe that's.
Like I said, it was a little brighter than these dark, looking things. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
these would be no, this is under them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is broken down here.
You see the one with the vest in the middle, the one you were talking about there, and the solid one? I like those a lot better.
Yeah.
Although the red one looks a little like that Colonel Green, Zephyr Cochrane outfit from TOS a little bit.
Yeah.
With that turtle, it's kind of a Nehru cut,
Yeah.
Like a Nehru jacket, and it minus those little what do you call them? The little root beer barrel thingies they had on for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has that look to it. That other outfit on the far left, what exactly was that?
This is the one uniform broken down. Like you take this coat off, the vest is under that. You take the vest off, this is under that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's its regular uniform. Okay. So
yeah, this is just one uniform. This is how you wear it. You wear all this together.
The sleeves actually come off.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The modular design is, look, I just would have added a little more color to the top,
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you have a picture of it, but there's a extravehicular uniform they wore in Voyager.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I have it here.
Okay, so
Wait, here's an admiral's uniform.
Yeah, and I noticed with the Admirals that they gave him the same basic uniform they did to the regular people, except they gave him a Starfleet belt.
Yeah, they gave him a belt and
The
two.
Starfleet belt is pretty much looks like a base you'd use for a Playmates figure. It basically looks like a Playmate figure base. They just slapped onto the belt. This is from inspiration. If you put like a zipper, like a gold zipper down it, or like gold line.
It's a longer top. Okay, it's a longer top that he's wearing, and he's got two colored wristbands on either wrist, and he wears a belt, and that's the only thing that distinguishes it from.
They make everybody look so generic in this era. They just give him that same outfit, and they just make it a little different, a little longer. But like I said, the Admiral doesn't look that much different.
Yeah, it's like the Wrath of Khan, where there's no distinguishment against.
Yeah, they made the Wrath of Khan era again in this era. Everything kind of clashed together, except with Wrath of Khan, that uniform goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Nobody really wears this much anymore. I don't see many people wearing this thing.
Yeah.
This is like bound to a specific kind of era, which would be late 90s, early 2000s. And there's our Fantasy Island dress uniforms.
Yeah. Now, the reason why they probably say that they look like waiter uniforms is because of how the bottom kind of goes down. Because
the little triangular bottoms.
Yeah.
A little bit. I love that gold lining, though. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah. The gold is great. I like the gold here. And,
I mean, it looks like an actual dress uniform. It doesn't look like some long thing.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I love it. I mean,
it's actually very naval.
It does, yeah.
So
because Navy uniforms are white, Yeah,
it's just like a naval dress uniform. That's actually not a bad design. One of my favorites of this era. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I wouldn't actually mind if the whole uniform didn't look a lot like that.
Yeah.
If it was that color. I mean, that just like a white naval outfit with the colors on the top, that wouldn't have been bad at all.
Yeah.
Like instead of having the black bottom, have the white bottom and the colored top, that would have been great.
Yeah. So yeah, this wasn't a bad dress uniform. I like this one.
Right. That's probably the best thing about that era is the dress uniforms look really good. So
now here's what you was talking about.
Those outfits, yeah. And even though they're gray on the bottom, I always found these interesting. I used to call them jigsaw puzzles because the way they
it's like they got a button for or a Velcro piece here, and here. It goes down.
Yeah. And this is weird. Even though they're gray, these are more cool. I mean, they have the gray on the bottom, but the top is kind of white, and they have the band. If these are the first contact era outfits, I wouldn't have minded that so much.
I was kind of hoping that this was like their prelude to they were going to change all their uniforms to look like that, and I was like, oh, that would look cool.
I would love that outfit. Those are awesome outfits. That kind of that stuff that all pins together.
Yeah.
Like that.
But then when they didn't do it after that, I was like, well, why did they make this whole thing just for racing?
They did it for racing, and they used it on that planet where they found the Borg.
Yeah.
Or Blonde got the pumper. It was just like whenever they went to a away mission and environment, they just slapped this thing on. And
I don't understand why they had to make something all different just for that.
I thought it was a cool outfit. They should have just made it a new uniform.
Yeah, I mean, I love the white top.
Yeah, it reminds me of that dress uniform. I love that white top.
Yeah.
Nice.
The only thing I'd do different is I wouldn't have the red stripe go all the way across because you see the stripe continues here. I would just have it just stop there.
That's a little awkward. Yeah. You could kind of fix that. But the black sleeves and the kind of gray middle, it reminds me of Admiral Kirk's uniform in the motion picture too. Yeah. It kind of has that offset color, but it's a great design. I just love the scheme of it, basically.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, so one day, the thing is, I don't know if you can order this online, but I'd love to see somebody make this at a convention and just show up with it because I really like that. I mean, it really looks nice.
If I could make a Star Trek outfit and sew and tailor and all that, I would totally do that in a second. I love that look.
Yeah, that's what I'd wear too. I'd like that.
I'd make mine an open collar like this one, obviously, but I love that basic look.
Well, yeah, if you could wear it open collar because it closes around the neck, but
right,
you
it has
can
those
open
things that close up. Yeah, I just love that look. It's just this great look for that era. I would love to see them, and I would love to, like you said, seeing them have that as the uniform in later on Voyager. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like, hey, let's stick with that, and they didn't. So it's like this was a concept when they were going to use.
They put the Playmates figures in those things. Yeah.
Let me zoom in and
the Generations concept. Now, you know what's weird about this? If they had gone with this in First Contact, I could have totally dealt with it. It may sound weird, almost like a step back, but it kind of has the naval feel, but TNG feel too.
Yeah. It folds over. You can't see the fold line, but it folds over the side. The line is right here, where it's like the Wrath of Khan kind of way it folds here. That's how you wear it.
Except minus the ridiculous buttons.
Yeah, without the buttons.
And the Playmates figures, they released them all with this uniform on until the movie came out and they didn't have it.
Yeah, and it looked like they were going back to wearing their ranks on their sleeves again, because they have a gold stripe here on this uniform, and I think they were getting rid of the pins and they were going back to the stripes on the sleeves again.
You know what? Now that I think about it, this may sound weird to you. Instead of using that kind of variation of the old Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, this would have been a great look for the Enterprise C era.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it kind of looks like it's almost before TNG.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they didn't use it, because maybe it didn't look like it was after, it looked before or something, you know.
Because it had those TOS things around the collar.
Yeah. But yeah, this isn't bad. The only part I don't like about this, Andre, is that it looks like this is tucked in, and it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, tucked in uniforms. I don't know why they would ever do that.
It doesn't. I mean, if it folds over, why would you tuck it in here all around the waist? I don't like that, because see how it folds up and it looks, you know, like it's pulling, like you got a strap pulling it down on the inside. I don't like
that fashion statement would not have worked with that. I mean,
yeah.
But basically, it's an interesting outfit. I would say I'd go for a like, although I wouldn't put it in Generations personally.
Yeah. But
they didn't do that.
But they made all their action figures look like that.
Exactly, and I have all of them, and they're half articulated, and then they're like, oops. And then they have outfits for like the Warp 3 series or whatever.
Yeah.
So I have all these outfits. Okay, so we have that future, all good things, what you leave behind. Basically, the Voyager and TNG series finales ended up with these same outfits.
Yeah.
And what they're solid, and they have like they kind of remind you more of TOS, don't they?
It looks like the previous picture we were just looking at.
Right, it's a cave TOS-y kind of feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like it per se that, you know, because maybe it's all one color like, and it has that line that goes across, which is lower than the way it was, and they put the pins down here. They kind of lowered the neckline a little bit, and it's the pants come up too high. It's just, I don't know. I just never liked it, you know, so much.
Yeah, well, you know, with that uniform, it's like, you know, I just thought of that as a future outfit, and I always thought of that as alternate timeline, and every time they change the future, that uniform suddenly goes away, and
yeah.
Just every time there's an alternate future, that thing shows up. So I call that the alternate future half uniform. Basically.
Yeah.
It was Q's alternate uniform and All Good Things, and it was future Janeway's alternate uniform. So that may not even happen. That may just be alternate uniform.
Yeah. So I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind the badge. The badge is fine, but you know what it has to sit on, I don't like.
the outfit's too bland and too one color, too retro TOS cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of back to Enterprise.
Back to the beginning.
In terms of we're gonna go back to you for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it down so we don't get all dizzy here.
There we go.
So
there you are. Okay. All right. So we have explored, if you don't mind the little clumsy cam, we've explored the uniforms really thoroughly, and you know it's weird how I like so many of them and so few I dislike. It's the only ones I really have a problem with are when they try to make it too dark.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't dislike the Star Trek II outfits maybe as much, but it could be a nostalgia trip. You know, like maybe I'm just kind of used to them, but they're just not my favorite per se.
Yeah.
The First Contact ones, I just didn't know why those needed to happen.
Yeah.
They just, you know, I just didn't see any reason why they didn't need to happen at all. They could have just stayed with those same outfits, but
yeah.
You only got Picard. He's Picard in that Voyager outfit one movie.
That's right.
They should have just kept with that the rest of the movie. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
I could live with that. I like that outfit. Like you said, that was one of my favorite outfits. And there are some variants in alternate universes too, like Janeway, when they had that Warship Voyager in that simulation, she had a black dickie under it, remember?
Yep.
You know, the Janeway had guns in her office and was shooting everybody and just being Klingon, basically.
Yeah.
Well, except not knives, but she was just being kind of this murderous pirate character. But and there was also that thing in Live Fast and Prosper. Like I said, the uniforms were all cut crazy and they were all on wrong, and the community was like 100-pound looking thing. Everything was, but there was this con artist wearing screwed up outfits that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that, the outfits are all cut wrong too. It's like they use a low budget replicator and it made some nonsense. Like maybe that's like Craigslist Starfleet.
It would look funny if they'd have had like homemade phasers that were made out of like cardboard and duct tape. It's like
they could have really gone. I mean, I like that episode because it's just there's a humor about it, but they could have really gone the spake delta for like this whole bucket. Remember?
Yeah.
They could have had these little. I mean, they could have had these little phasers that were like I don't know. They could have been like little cheap. They could have used for phasers.
What's that?
They could have used the Galoob cricket, that giant cricket.
The noisy things, yeah.
They could have used that noisy cricket. Toy looking phasers, or like one of those, maybe even one of those little Mego disc phasers, like they use on SNL. Little black one piece. It's really cheap looking, or like maybe I don't know if you saw it, but when the Chris Pine movies or the Kelvin Universe movies came out, they made like a really cheap water gun version of the JJ phaser.
Oh yeah.
Like a super cheap looking one.
Yeah.
I never got it because it looked really crappy, but.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It had like two barrels and would flip on the front. That was like weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, that Live Fast process, they could have had these really crazy things. I mean, they could have really gone because they had the Playmates communicator on them, so they could have had toy phasers. They didn't you can destroy a whole building. This little thing is because the Delta Flyer was an old bucket, a freighter ship they had. But like I said, they could have just this is bootleg Star Trek,
Yeah.
That they were doing that, but they could have just totally gone all the way with it.
Yeah.
Even better, a bootleg Voyager.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's a future, but I think we've explored this issue really thoroughly, haven't we?
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to add tonight?
Nope. I guess, we pretty much covered uniforms. I mean, we could go on and on about all the other outfits we saw from all the other races, but that would
that's
be
another
like
story. we can do different species and different eras next time. But for this episode of Trek Prime,
the thing is that there was so many. I was surprised at how many different.
Yeah, especially with the motion picture, we went on and on with that, didn't we?
Yeah, there was a lot there to look.
With the motion picture, I'm usually watching. I didn't notice all these people coming out in these different outfits, and that crowd scene, all these different browns and these whites and these things, and and then when you get to Next Generation, even like you said, you have the regular outfits and the cheerleaders. That's a cute name for them. Because you like cheerleader outfits now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I much prefer Pulaski's look because it doesn't have that. I can't imagine her in a cheerleader outfit anyway.
No, she wouldn't look right in that. So.
Yeah, it didn't look good on Troy either. But whatever. I'm glad she got out of that.
Yeah.
And there was a test with her with that and the bun.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, Marina was like, no. Bun is bad enough. No.
No.
Because I mean, that was she looked like a very awkward cheerleader there, like a not a counselor.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't imagine going to therapy and having somebody come in with a bun and a cheerleader outfit on.
Yeah, how are you going to be taken seriously?
It looks absurd.
Yeah.
But so, like I said, basically they made most of the right choices. The Next Generation they were fine, but they made the right choice with that. TOS looked good for what it was. They kept going back to the coverall. That, like I said, it was all about the coverall of these shows, and they kept bringing it back. I was surprised Voyager didn't have a coverall on their ship.
Yeah.
Maybe there was. Maybe there were people in coveralls we just didn't see.
Yeah.
Maybe that we had like the lower decks and the coverall. Everybody went coveralls on those decks of the ship.
Yeah.
So I mean, anyway. So we had a good 20th episode, and TrekYards. I'm sorry I forgot to drop a link to one of your videos last week, but I'm going to do that this week. So happy 4th anniversary to you. Happy 20 episodes for us. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring everybody in for the 25th episode. This goal is getting less uncertain. We're having problems figuring out the software, If anybody of you out there know a freeware that we could use to make everything work, please let us know.
Yeah.
Need it. So anyway, from now on, we're just continuing this way, and I'm hoping the the zooming wasn't distracting. You know, that was a good idea, Jeff. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that up.
Tried to do my best to hold it steady.
So anyway, until next time, live long and prosper.
Bye-bye.